Hello, this is a guy who likes fanfiction and is too lazy to read, so here is Attack on Prime in audio form. Check the description for the links to the author. Chapter 11, Warriors. Alright, Optimus. Hanji began as Optimus was in his alt mode in front of the gates of Wall Sina. We'll be sending you out to find the hole within Wall Rose and guard it to prevent other Titans from coming into the wall. Understood, Miss Zoe, Optimus said. And once we gather our troops, we'll send them into Wall Rose to find you and the others. Hanji finished. Squad leader, a soldier began as he landed on the ground next to Hanji. There are no Titans near the gate. Good, open the gate, Hanji ordered. She watched as the gate slowly opened as Optimus revved up his engines. When the opening was large enough, Optimus speeded through and drove through the land of Wall Rose. Hanji coughed as she tried to get rid of the smoke Optimus caused. She opened her eyes to see the gate slowly closing and Optimus' form leaving her sight. Good luck. Hanji called out as the gates shut completely. He's been getting pissed off lately, a voice said. Hanji turned and looked down to see Levi next to her. You've noticed too. It's not like him though, Levi admitted, it kind of nerves me. Yeah, it's hard to deal with Optimus when he's mad, Hanji smiled as she rubbed the back of her head. Usually he just gives the silent treatment, but now he's just pissed. Wait a minute, it nerves you. Usually Prime is always calm and quiet, Levi began, but I guess he's not used to the rules of this world like we are. I don't know what happens on his world, but it's probably not like here. I just hope things will go back to normal again and Optimus can go back to his usual self, Hanji hoped. Levi gave her a smug look. I doubt that anything will go back to normal. Whatever that is. Sasha, Mr. Blouse began as he looked at his daughter, how long before we reach Wall Sina? I don't know, Sasha admitted, but we should be almost there. Sasha gasped as she pulled her horse to a stop. She sensed something pure that was coming their way before seeing a set of lights. Prime, Sasha whispered. She whipped the reins on her horse before it sped faster towards the lights. Sasha, what the hell? Mr. Blouse yelled as he sped after her. Sasha saw the lights get closer until she could make out the weird caravan. She pulled the reins on the horse as it skidded to a stop. Sasha then covered her ears as the caravan screeched to a stop. Sasha! What the whoa? Mr. Blouse exclaimed as he pulled his horse to a stop. Sasha, are you alright? Optimus asked through the radio. Yeah, I'm fine, Sasha answered, I just went to find any survivors from my village. I see, Optimus mused, do you know where any of your other comrades are? Sasha shook her head. I thought they would have made it to the wall. Then they are still out there, Optimus whispered to himself. Sasha, the wall is not too far from here. Take your village to the wall immediately and stay there. Your safety is top priority. Wait, Optimus! Sasha yelled, but Optimus revved up his engines and drove off. I have to tell you something. She yelled. Sasha, that don't matter, her father declared, we gotta go. But. Sasha trailed off before sighing, fine. But she wasn't fine. Something really bad was coming. Really, really bad. Rainier, Berthold, Emir, Connie, and Krista, along with their superiors, sat within the ruins of Castle Utgard. After they were unable to find a breach within Wall Rose, they found this stronghold and decided to wait there for the night. You rookies make sure you rest well, a male soldier named Gerger said. Daytime ended, so I doubt the Titan can still walk. But to be safe we'll be staying here for the rest of the night. We'll take turns to be on the lookout. Excuse me, Krista began, if the wall really isn't breached, then how did the Titans get in? We'll look in that tomorrow, Gerger answered, right now your orders are to rest. Gerger walked up the stairs before Emir realized something and turned to Connie. Connie, what happened to your village? She asked. The village was destroyed by Titans when I got there, Connie answered solemnly. Emir and Krista widened their eyes before Emir looked in pity. I'm sorry for Dash. But no one was eaten, Connie added, causing Reiner to look at him. It seemed like they managed to escape from that whole ordeal. At least it allows me some relief. Emir thought the information over before realizing something. But you said that the village was destroyed. That doesn't make any sense if the people in your village managed to make it out safely. Well, the buildings were destroyed, Connie explained, but there were no bodies or blood trails. There's no evidence that they were eaten, so the only assumption that I can make was that they made it out alive. But, something's been bothering me after I left. The Titan that was lying on my house wasn't able to move because its arms and legs were too small. And, it looked like my mom. It was even able to speak. Connie, Reiner warned, but was cut off when Amir began laughing loudly. Your mom was a Titan. Then how come you're such a midget? Amir cackled, so what y'all say to that, Connie? The facts don't really add up like that. I knew you were an idiot. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're a genius. Amir continued laughing while everyone looked at her in a disapproving manner. Connie sighed. All right, knock it off. You're making this sound ridiculous. Hey, does that mean you dad's a Titan too? Amir asked with a smirk, cause if not, how were they able to, you know dash. All right, shut up. You crazy bitch. Connie yelled, go to sleep goddammit. Optimus slowed down as he came across a destroyed village. He really didn't want to transform into his bipedal mode because of the chaos that was happening right now. If he were to come across survivors that have never seen him before, they might think of him as an aberrant Titan. Well, desperate times called for desperate measures. Optimus transformed into his bipedal mode and changed his right servo into a blaster before walking through the village. He scanned the ground and noticed giant footprints coming from various directions, mainly going through the houses. The Titans were here, Optimus concluded. He was told that the Titans had good animal instincts, even though they are unable to have a sense of thought. Optimus heard quiet neighing sounds before looking across from his to see the horses still in their stables. The humans didn't have time to escape, Optimus concluded. There was a high chance that they were dead, and he knew he couldn't do anything about it. He would have to continue searching for survivors throughout Walrose. Optimus heard a growl and instinctively turned and aimed his blaster at the source. Optimus slightly grimaced as he sees a Titan lying on top of a destroyed house. Guess this one was an aberrant. Optimus slightly narrowed his optics as he noticed something off about the Titan. The Titan had deformed arms and legs. It wasn't dead, he knew that, but then how did the Titan get in the walls? Its arms and legs were unable to support itself. There was no way. Metal, Titan, hope. A voice spoke. Optimus widened his optics in shock as he noticed the Titan was looking at him with a disturbing smile. Did that Titan just speak? My son, save him, save Connie, the Titan spoke. Ma'am, what happened to you? Optimus asked as he kneeled down and lifted her head, how did you end up this way? Optimus was now only met with growling and hissing noises from the Titan. The Titan just talked, Optimus realized. Ordinary Titans can display intelligence? No. Was this person a Titan shifter? Was she forced to be this way? Then Optimus realized what the Titan said, save Connie. Connie? Why did that name sound familiar? Optimus widened his optics as he realized that Connie is one of the members of the Survey Corps. I will save your son, Optimus swore as he gently put the Titan head back down. Optimus then followed a set of footprints leading to more footprints that ended up going in the same direction. Optimus narrowed his optics before transforming and following the trail. Amir held a candle as she was rummaging through one of the crates, looking for something to eat. She heard someone walking towards the door and turned towards the person who turned out to be Reiner. Amir, what are you doing? Reiner asked. Oh, it's you Reiner, Amir said as she continued looking through the crate. What? Sneaking up with dirty intentions on girls at night. Oh, what a shock, I didn't think I looked like the guy that was interested in girls, Reiner assumed, and you don't look like the girl that's interested in guys. Oh really, Amir trailed off before changing the subject, I've been searching for something to fill my stomach up with. It does look like this will be our last dinner. About Connie's village, you did that to make him drop the subject, didn't you? Reiner asked, can you keep up the act, so Connie doesn't have to worry so much? Oh, found something, Amir said as she pulled out canned food, looks like this'll do, but I don't really like herring. Maybe there's more in there. Let me take a look, Reiner suggested. Sure, Amir said as she handed him the can. Canned food, eh? Reiner observed, before widened his eyes in shock. What are these characters? I can't read them at all. Ymir stopped looking through the crate as she felt Reiner's eyes on her. You said this was herring, right? Reiner asked. Well, you can sure tell what this is without any problem. Reiner gave her a confused and horrified look while Ymir glared at him, almost ready to attack. Everyone, get up. The female superior, Renee, yelled, and get to the roof. We have a serious problem. Optimus kept on following the footprints before transforming and activating his blasters. He looked up at the sky to see the cloud moving away, revealing a full moon. Scrap, Optimus cursed. Titans mainly need sunlight to move, he remembered Hanji explaining, they're less active at night, but we did a test with Sonny and Bean revealing that they can still move depending on the amount of light provided. If only it was a new moon, Optimus thought, this wouldn't be much of an issue. Optimus heard growling noises as he hid behind a tree and dimmed his optics. He noticed an army of Titans wandering towards a castle next to Walrose. I'm at the border, Optimus thought. Optimus widened his optics as he saw a 5-meter class Titan push down another Titan and tear it limb from limb. What is going on? Optimus asked himself. The Titans are acting stranger than usual. Why would a Titan eat one of its own? It was never recorded that an aberrant would do that. Optimus looked up at the tower and widened his optics as he saw humans at the top of it. This is really bad. Optimus stopped as he saw a large shadow with pointed ears under him. He turned around and widened his optics as the figure behind him raised his fists into the air. How are they still moving? Nanoba demanded, it's been a good few hours after sunset. What's going on? Krista asked. Everyone heard a loud clang as they saw Optimus skidding to a stop from outside a set of trees. Hey, isn't that Optimus? Berthold asked. Fucking, yes. We're saved. Connie smiled with excitement. Optimus transformed his arms into blasters as he fired at the tree rapidly. Everyone looked in surprise while Ymir raised an eyebrow. Geez, it looks like he's gotten spooked, Ymir remarked. Prime. Connie yelled as he waved his hands in the air, over here. Optimus stopped firing and looked over at them before looking down at the Titans at the bottom of the castle. Optimus aimed his blasters at them, but jumped out of the way as a tree almost hit him. What the hell? Connie yelled. Guys, what is that? Krista asked as she pointed in the direction the tree came from. Everyone looked in shock as they saw a Titan, taller than both Eren and Optimus, step out. It had long arms and legs, with pointed ears and fur all over his body except for his muscular torso. Oh my fuck, that thing is huge, Connie breathed. The soldiers yelled as the tower began shaking. The superiors looked down to see Titans slamming the building and the door, allowing the smaller Titans to get inside. Damn it. The Titans got in. Renee yelled. Looks like we're not out of the clear just yet, Reiner said. Cadets. Nanoba yelled, go inside the castle and get rid of the Titans. We'll take care of the larger ones outside. Krista was about to protest, but their superiors pulled out their swords and jumped off of the roof of the castle with a battle cry. You heard them, we need to move. Reiner declared as he grabbed a torch and ran inside the castle with the other following, I'll go see how many Titans penetrated the tower. You guys go find anything that burnable and bring it here. Wow. Connie said as Reiner continued running down the castle, that guy never really changes, huh? Even when it's not training anymore, he's always doing the most dangerous assignments or tasks. Yeah, Berthold agreed as he gritted his teeth, it's his stupid bad habit of his. What are we going to do? A female soldier asked Nanoba and Gerger. We keep fighting, Nanoba answered. But how many of them can we hold off? Gerger asked as he saw more Titans heading towards the castle. Until Optimus can help us, Nanoba answered again. But he's occupied with that beast Titan over there, Henning stated as they saw Optimus get into a fighting stance while the beast Titan just looked at him. He took out 100 Titans and was able to capture any, Nanoba retorted, he'll be fine. Let's just buy time. Optimus stared down the beast Titan as he changed from his blasters to his blades. He knew that the Titan had similar attributes to that of a primate, probably a mix of a chimpanzee and other primate he couldn't identify. This may prove to be problematic since he didn't really know much about primates. The only knowledge he ever got was when Jack, Maiko, and Raphael watched a movie about a gorilla running around in a densely populated area and climbing a tall tower. Optimus put that thought to the side as he analyzed more of the ape titan's physical features. It was taller than him and Eren. It was probably the height of an Insecticon. And if it does have animalistic attributes, then that means that he will be stronger than Eren when in Titan form. It may be strong, but it also may be slow as well. He could use that to his advantage. But there was also the fact that this was a definitely different breed of Titan. Optimus narrowed his optics as he came to a conclusion, that may be a Titan shifter. Optimus flipped back as the ape Titan attacked by slamming him fists into the ground. Optimus stepped forward and slashed his blade at the Titan, only for it to dodge it at the last second. The ape Titan stepped back before grabbing a tree and throwing it at Optimus. Optimus sliced the tree in half before running towards the Titan. The Titan may appear to be stronger than Eren, but it does not have armor, Optimus thought. If he could get close enough, then he could kill the ape Titan, or possibly remove the Titan shifter inside the nape of the neck. Optimus ran towards the Titan, prepared to strike, but the ape Titan swung his arm at him. Optimus instinctively ducked and tried to know the Titan off of its feet, but not before it jumped into the air. Optimus stepped back as the Titan landed on the ground, causing it to crack underneath the pressure. Optimus made an attempt to kick him, but the ape Titan was able to grab his ankle and hoist him into the air upside down. Optimus widened his optics in shock while the Titan stared at him in confusion. Optimus regained his composure and sliced his blade through its stomach. The beast Titan dropped him before Optimus flipped back and got into a fighting stance. Optimus noticed the wound he gave the beast quickly regenerate as the beast touched it there curiously. The beast is just observing me through action, Optimus realized. He didn't think the beast would have enough strength to casually lift him though. Optimus transformed his right servo into a blaster before firing at the ape Titan. The Cybertronian widened his eyes in shock as the ape Titan moved quicker than expected to avoid the attack. He's fast, Optimus thought. The beast Titan stopped as he grabbed a chunk of the ground and threw it at Optimus. Optimus gritted his dentures before he fired. Connie! Krista screamed as Connie turned to see a Titan sneak up on him. Before he could have time to react, Reiner shoved Connie out of the way before the Titan bit down on his arm. Reiner! Connie yelled. Reiner grunted as the Titan kept on biting down on his arm. Reiner then used his strength to pick up the Titan and walk towards the window. Hey, Reiner, what are you doing? Connie yelled. Don't commit suicide over this. Berthold reasoned. What choice do I have? Reiner asked rhetorically. Connie then grabbed a blade before running over to Reiner and pulling him back. What are you doing? Reiner demanded. If I can just cut open the cheek, Connie grunted as he pulled the knife, being careful not to cut Reiner. It's out. Connie smiled as the Titan released its grip on Reiner's arm. Connie and Reiner backed away as the Titan tried to get back inside the castle. But before it could stand up again, Ymir kicked the Titan out the window, causing it to fall to its doom. Nice save, Reiner thanked. It was no problem, Connie said. Later on, Berthold, Connie, and Ymir began to use whatever items they had in their possession to barricade the door. What'll we do when they break in again? Connie asked. We're not going to get lucky like this again. Agreed, Berthold spoke. Berthold looked over to see Krista tending to Reiner's wound. She opened up the wine bottle on the floor and poured it over the bite. Ow, Reiner grunted, ow. Sorry, Krista apologized, the bone is fractured, I think. Yeah, it looks like it is, Reiner agreed. Okay, so we have a brace, Krista spoke to herself as she held a stick. Now all we need is a bandage, I got it. Krista bent down and ripped part of her skirt. She then kneeled down and wrapped the cloth over his wound. I'm sorry, Krista apologized again, this dirty cloth is the only thing we have. Don't be. Thank you, Reiner said while thinking, just marry me, god damn it. You okay there, Reiner? Connie asked. Yeah, more or less, Reiner answered. Hey, Krista, I cut my finger too. Ymir told her. Don't be a baby about it, Connie stated as he looked at her, just spit on it to make it better. There was silence between the five before Connie spoke up. Reiner, I'm sorry for earlier. I'm getting saved by you all the time. You even saved me from Annie one time. I've gotta return the favor one day. Reiner looked at Connie as remembered something painful. It's nothing. Just forget it. I'm a soldier. I just do what I am told to do. I wonder about that, Connie admitted. You never seem to hesitate to put your life on the line. I doubt my resolve can compare. Say, Berthold, was Reiner always like this? No, Berthold answered as he looked at Reiner. Reiner once was a warrior in the past. Different from what he is now. What's that supposed to mean? Reiner asked. Warrior, what are you talking about? Everyone heard grunting and blaster fire followed by the sound of rocks. Geez, what the hell is Prime doing out there? Connie demanded. He took out like 100 titans, right? This shouldn't be an issue. Well, we can't always rely on him for help, Ymir retorted as she looked out the window, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job. Damn it. More are coming. Gerger cried as he killed a titan and landed on the castle wall. We still have the castle, Nanaba retorted. If we didn't then we'd all be dead right now. Yeah, but what the hell are we supposed to do about them? Gerger asked as he pointed to Optimus dodging the beast titan's attacks. Nothing, Nanaba answered, they're too far. We'll go check on the rookies, Renee informed as she and Henning went to the roof. Nanaba nodded her head before Gerger tapped her shoulder. We need to move. Gerger warned. Nanaba was about to ask why, until a boulder hit the horse's den. Oh no, Nanaba gasped, the horses. Optimus began him to see the boulder that almost hit the castle. He can't dodge them at all. If he does, then the humans may be killed. The beast titan grabbed another chunk of the ground and threw it at Optimus. Optimus used his blade to slice through it before both pieces fell onto the ground. The two titans continued this pattern as Optimus made his way closer. The beast titan threw one more boulder before Optimus fired at it with his blaster. Optimus then sliced at the beast titan twice, but it was able to dodge the attacks. Optimus then aimed his blaster at the beast's face, but the beast titan grabbed his arm and pointed it into the air. Optimus couldn't stop the blast in time before he fired into the night sky. Optimus used his blade and cut off the arm the titan held him with. Optimus flipped back and aimed his blaster as the beast titan as the beast looked at his regenerating arm. As Optimus was getting ready to fire, Optimus looked over to the castle to see more titans heading towards it, but no one was killing them. Optimus looked up at the top of the castle to see 5 of the cadets with no 3D gear practically awaiting their doom. No! Optimus cried. Optimus in attempt to run towards the castle, but stopped in his tracks as a boulder landed in front of him. You are impressive, a voice said. Optimus widened his optics in shock before he turned towards the beast titan, whose arm fully regenerated. I was unaware that the humans had made a titan like you, the beast titan remarked. And I was unaware that your species had the ability to speak, Optimus proclaimed as he aimed his blaster at the beast. Optimus thought it would be best not to say that he wasn't built. He didn't think it would be wise to reveal that he wasn't from here. That may prove problematic when giving possible intelligence to the enemy. We are of the same species, the beast titan spoke, so why won't you follow my orders? My mind is highly evolved and complex, Optimus answered, unlike the mindless titans that roam this world. Yet you would still choose to help them. The beast titan asked. Optimus didn't say anything as he turned around and fired 3 rounds of energon. The blasts hit 3 titans in the head, causing them to disintegrate. My allegiance to the humans is none of your concern, Optimus proclaimed as he aimed his blaster back at the beast titan. Your concern is losing your real arm. If you don't tell me what I need to know, where is the breach? The beast titan raised an eyebrow. Breach? How else could the titans have gotten in? Optimus questioned. Optimus knew it would be an extreme issue if the breach was on the side of the wall instead of at a gate. If the titans inside the walls were exposed to daylight, then humanity will end up losing this fight. The beast titan chuckled. Who said anything about a breach? You know it would be great if Prime shot another one of those blue things over here. Connie yelled. And bring down the whole tower. Berthold and Ymir yelled. It doesn't even matter. Connie yelled as he slumped to his knees on the roof, "We're going to end up dead. Our superiors ended up dying trying to protect us." "If only," Krista began, "if only we had something to fight with, then we could all die together." Amir looked at Krista before scowling. "How many times have I told you to stop that?" Krista looked at Amir in surprise while the three men looked in confusion. "Stop using your superior's death, or anyone's death at that matter, as a means to commit suicide," Amir demanded before sighing. "I know that you don't want to die, but you're thinking, if you die nobly, then you'll get praised for it. Am I wrong?" What do you mean that there is no breach?" Optimus demanded. "You said that you were highly evolved," the Beast Titan recalled. "Why don't you try figuring it out?" Optimus narrowed his optics at the Titan as he thought it over. If there was no breach, then how did the Titans get in the first place? There are Titan shifters. Eren and this talking beast were proof of that. This Titan must have come from the outside and found a way inside. But how did he let the Titans inside? Optimus remembered something that Eren told Hanji about, the serum. Eren's father injected him with a serum. That was the reason why Eren had his Titan powers in the first place. What if there was another serum? Optimus widened his optics in shock and realization as the sun began to rise. The houses from that village, the Titan that spoke of her son, Titan shifters, the fact that there are more Titans than humans. The Titans are human? Optimus asked in horror as his facade began cracking. "Yes," the Beast Titan answered calmly. "I've been killing humans this whole time." Optimus' face was filled with dread and panic as he felt like he was going to throw up. "In your case, this would be twisted irony," the Beast Titan remarked. "The race you seemingly want to protect is the one you've been destroying this entire time." Optimus' processors ran 1,000 miles a minute. The one thing that he swore to himself never to do. He's been doing it this whole time. How did he not notice? The Beast Titan turned his back on Optimus, but stopped as he heard a strange noise from the Metal Titan. "Don't you dare, turn your back on me!" Optimus yelled. The Beast Titan had no time to react as Optimus punched him in the face. The Beast Titan staggered back as Optimus charged forward, not taking notice of the lightning strike behind him. Optimus jumped onto the Beast Titan and began choking him from behind. The Beast Titan grabbed Optimus and pulled the Metal Titan off of him, only for Optimus to kick the Beast Titan in the face. The Beast Titan dropped Optimus as his face began to regenerate. As it finished, the Beast Titan was met with a blade slicing open his stomach. Optimus aimed his blaster at the beast, but it managed to swat the blaster away as it fired at the ground instead. Optimus used this opportunity and sliced at the beast's throat. The Beast Titan stepped back and held onto his neck. He glared at Optimus, who gave off a more powerful glare of seething anger. He'd been underestimating this Titan because he was too curious as to why it had its own free will. He nearly hit his human form. He had to be careful. The Beast Titan was knocked out of his thoughts as Optimus kneed him in the stomach, causing him to cough up spit. The Beast Titan held his stomach and grunted as Optimus jumped into the air and kicked him in the face. The Beast Titan skidded across the ground as Optimus landed on his feet. Before the Beast Titan had time to get up, Optimus grabbed him by the neck and pinned him to the ground. "You will pay for what you have done," Optimus yelled as he began crushing the Beast Titan's neck. The Beast Titan tried to remove Optimus' grip, but Optimus wouldn't move at all. "Tell me how to change them back," Optimus demanded. The Beast Titan widened his eyes as he could feel his neck getting smaller. He had to get him off guard somehow. Optimus stopped as he heard loud rumbling noises, followed by a large crash. He turned around to see the castle give way and collapse. No, Optimus thought, the survivors. Optimus let go of the Beast Titan and ran towards the castle, allowing the Beast Titan to stand up and walk towards the wall. I can't believe it," Connie exclaimed with a nervous smile. She buried the Titans. "We're alive." Krista looked at Amir's small Titan form. This really was her secret? "Amir," Krista spoke, but widened her eyes as Optimus skidded to a stop in front of them. Before Krista could explain anything, Optimus transformed his blaster and aimed it at Amir. Whoa! 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 I don't want to be blown to bits. Connie screamed as he put his hands in the air. Wait. Krista pleaded, Emir's not an enemy. She's an ally. She saved us from the Titans. Optimus simply glared at Emir as he quietly glanced back at Reiner and Berthold. If Emir was a Titan, then these two may be Titan shifters as well. Please don't, Krista pleaded. Before Optimus could provide an answer, a Titan's hand shot up from the rubble and grabbed Emir's Titan form by the hair and threw her into the air. Everyone looked around and saw more Titans emerging from the rubble. Damn it! Reiner cursed as Berthold held him. The Titans are already coming out, Connie realized. Prime, help us. Optimus was trying so hard to focus, but he couldn't. These Titans, they were human. He can't kill them. Optimus mentally snapped out of his trance. Focus. He had to put it aside, he had to. Optimus aimed his blasters at the Titans that surrounded Emir and ate away at the Titan flesh. May he be forgiven for this. Optimus fired straight at the heads of the beasts as they disintegrated one by one. Connie ran towards Optimus for cover while Berthold followed the suite, carrying Reiner as gently as he could. Krista looked with worry as the Titans surround her friend dropped one by one. When the Titans surrounding Emir turned to ash, he fired at the ones near them. Optimus fired at the last one before lowering his blaster and transforming it back into his servo. Connie ended up taking deep breaths as he collapsed onto the rubble. Please tell me we'll live this time. Optimus heard galloping noises and looked over to see the Survey Corps riding towards them. Optimus. Hanji smiled as she waved her hands in the air. Optimus should be relieved, but he wasn't. He just knew that this wasn't over. Ah, Optimus. Hanji screamed as she looked at his form, what happened to you? Miss Zoe, I will be fine, Optimus insisted. You have scratches everywhere. Hanji retorted as she pointed at the scratches and his faded paint job, you need as much fixing as we can provide when we get back to the walls. Got it. I understand, Miss Zoe, Optimus answered, thank you for your concern. The Survey Corps decided to go to the edge of Wall Rose and rest there for a bit as they would later bring the injured back to Wall Sina, and look for the breach in Wall Rose. Hanji was about to say more, but sighed and gave a small smile. Geez, you really need to be concerned with your health, yeah no. Miss Zoe, I need a moment. May I have some time alone? Optimus asked. Hanji raised an eyebrow in confusion and was about to ask why, but assumed that he was still mad at Pastor Nick. Sure, Hanji answered, I'll just go up to the wall and talk to our friend, Crystal Lentz. Or as she called herself, Historia. Optimus watched as Hanji flew up the wall before retracting his mask back. He let out a breath that he didn't know that he was holding as he clenched his servos. How could this happen? Eren looked over at Emir's unconscious form as they pulled her up the wall. Guess Emir was a Titan shifter as well. Eren then widened his eyes as he heard a grunted noise and looked down next to him to see Reiner struggling to get up the wall. Oh, grab my hand, Eren said as he held out his hand. Thanks, Reiner said as he grabbed Eren's hand and was pulled up the wall. Ow, 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 Reiner groaned as he sat down. Reiner, are you okay? Eren asked as he pulled Armin up the wall. No, Reiner answered as he put his other hand on his face, a Titan nearly bit off my arm. I thought I was going to die. Eren slightly grimaced as Armin made it up to the walls. Even someone as big and strong as you has trouble, huh? Just like Optimus, Eren thought as he looked down at him. Optimus looked in more distress than ever. What happened when he was out here? Eren looked over at Reiner and Berthold. Hey, guys. Optimus looks stressed. What happened to him? Reiner shrugged. I don't know. Optimus was yelling at some Beast Titan before the castle collapsed. Beast Titan? Armin asked in surprise. Yeah, Reiner answered, no one knows where it came from. Eren looked at Optimus again before sighing. He'll probably have to ask him later. Well, now we just got to find that breach, Eren said, it's near your hometown. Right, Reiner. Reiner widened his eyes in realization while Berthold shot up with a smile on his face. Right, Reiner. Berthold exclaimed, our home village. Let's go back there. Eren looked in confusion while Reiner had an unreadable expression on his face. Come on Reiner, Berthold insisted, compared to what we've been through, we just have a little bit more left to do. Reiner gave Berthold a slow smile. Right. Just a little bit longer, and we'll need a place to rest. Eren and Armin looked at each other in confusion. What were they talking about? Eren, Mikasa called out, Hans-san is at the wall. Hans-san? Eren asked with a smile as he ran over to her. Guess we'll be able to find out the location of the breach, Armin thought as he walked over to the group. Optimus quietly waited to hear the results of the garrison group. If there really was no breach, then what the Beast Titan said would be true. There's no breach, the squad leader explained. Optimus felt his spark stop. There really was no breach. No. Then that meant. Optimus closed his optics in pain and clenched his fists. He didn't know if he wanted to punch something or throw up. Primus, he was so confused. Keep it together, Optimus told himself. He had to. This mission wasn't over yet. Optimus. Hanji called out from the top of the wall, we're going to go on standby in the Trost district. Optimus nodded his head in understanding as he was about to follow the rest of the corps, when he heard. I'm the Armored Titan, and he's the Colossal Titan. Optimus stopped dead in his tracks as his optics were wide as saucers. That was Reiner's voice. Reiner was the Armored Titan and his friend Berthold had to be the Colossal Titan. Optimus looked up at the wall to see Mikasa stop in her tracks as well. That means she must have heard what Reiner said as well. Mikasa looked down at Optimus before the two nodded at each other in understanding. They needed to take them both out. Mikasa quietly drew her blades while Optimus raised his right servo and slowly transformed it. Look Reiner, you're just tired, Eren insisted as he put a hand on his shoulder. You're probably not in your right mind. You just almost died. Right, Berthold. Why yes. Berthold stuttered, you're simply tired. And besides, Eren continued, if you were the Armored and Colossal Titan, why would you even want to have this conversation with me? Do you really just expect me to follow you just like that through simple talk? Eren kept a straight expression as Reiner looked anxiously at him. Oh right, Reiner spoke with a nervous smile, what was I thinking? Have I gone mad or something? Let's just go to the town, Eren suggested. I've been here for too long, Reiner continued, ignoring Eren. I've spent 3 years of my life here acting like a fool because I've been surrounded by so many of them. That's why I would say something so stupid like that. If only I never knew about those fools' existence when I was a brat, I wouldn't be the pathetic bastard I am now. Eren's heart began speeding up as Reiner began taking off his bandages. I don't know what's right and wrong anymore, Reiner admitted, but I do know that no matter my actions and my consequences. Eren's eyes widened in horror as Reiner's wood began to regenerate right before his eyes. As a warrior, I must take responsibility of my actions until the bitter end. Reiner declared. Optimus turned around and fired at Reiner, only for Berthold to knock him to the ground. Optimus, what are you doing? Hanji yelled. Evacuate the area. Optimus ordered, now. Mikasa ran towards Reiner and Berthold with her blades unsheathed. She cut off Reiner's arm, trying to cut off his neck. However, Reiner used his other hand to slow the blade. Mikasa then stabbed Berthold in his hand and neck, causing him to go into shock. Eren. Run. Mikasa yelled as she stepped on Berthold, causing him to scream in pain. Mikasa then grunted as Reiner shoved her off of the wall. Mikasa. Eren yelled. Optimus fired another round at the two Titan shifters, but it was too late. Lighting came down and consumed the two spies. Optimus covered his optics before widening them in shock to see the full body of the Armored Titan and the partial body of the Colossal Titan. Optimus then saw Reiner grab Eren as he jumped over to the other side of the wall. No! Optimus cried as he ran over to the wall and began to climb it. As he made it to the top, he covered his optics as more steam appeared. He heard a loud roar as he looked down to see Eren transform, breaking free from Reiner's grasp. Optimus yelled as he jumped from the top of the wall and tackled Reiner away from Eren. They tumbled across the ground as Reiner managed to pin Optimus. As Reiner was about to punch him in the face, Optimus transformed his servo into a blaster and fired at Reiner's face. Reiner roared in pain as Optimus kicked Reiner off of him. Reiner stumbled back while Optimus flipped backwards. The Energon, Optimus thought as he saw Reiner recover from the attack, it doesn't have much of an effect because of his armor. Eren ran towards Optimus, but Optimus put a servo in front of him. "I'm fine, Eren," Optimus insisted as he stood up. Eren growled and roared as he was about to attack Reiner, but Optimus grabbed him and pulled him back. "Stop. Control your emotions," Optimus instructed, causing Eren to look at him. "If you let your emotions take control, then Reiner will win." Eren looked at Optimus with concern before he took a deep breath. Optimus let go of Eren before he glared at Reiner. He should have stopped them. He had the evidence right in front of him, but didn't use it and give to anyone to form a plan to capture these two. And deep down he probably chose to brush this off because he refused to believe that children were the enemy to mankind. Now Reiner and Bertholdt had revealed themselves and were confirmed to be after Eren. They were also responsible for the near extinction of humanity. They had no choice but to kill them. Optimus was going to attack, but stopped when he heard a ringing through his audio receptors. He widened his optics as the noise got closer. Was that a jet? Eren growled as he walked closer to Reiner. He was going to tear this lying bastard apart. His home, his mother, humanity, he was going to make them suffer for what they had done. "Eren, get down!" Optimus yelled. Eren growled in surprise as Optimus grabbed him and pulled him to the ground. Reiner jumped out of the way as a line of purple beams almost hit him. He looked up to see a flying object make its way towards the wall. "What the hell is that?" a soldier yelled. Everyone turned to see the flying object make its way towards Bertholdt. The soldier ducked as the flying object fired at the colossal titan. Bertholdt screamed as the purple beams hit his hands. Armin widened his eyes as the flying object flew upwards. "What? No. That thing fired at Reiner and Bertholdt intentionally. It's sentient, so then who is that?" Armin thought. Optimus and Eren stood up and watched the flying object make its way back towards Reiner. "What is that?" Eren thought. Optimus looked in horror. Of all the people here, of all the Cybertronians here, it had to be him. Eren's mouth dropped as the flying object transformed into another metal titan. The metal titan let out a battle cry and punched Reiner in the face. The armor plating on Reiner's face completely shattered as the force of the punch caused him to tumble and slam into the wall. "Holy shit!" Hanji yelled in amazement as smoke rose from the damage. Eren watched in surprise as Reiner struggled to get to his feet. He then looked over to see the other metal titan stand up completely. The metal titan appeared to be a male that was mostly gray. Many areas on his body had brown spiky ends while other parts of his body had purple markings. He had claws instead of fingers and a heavily battle-scared face. He had the hilt of a sword on his waist and some weird object on his back. He had these focused, red eyes that made chills go down his real spine. "Is that one of Optimus' kind?" Eren thought. "No," Optimus gasped, "by the Allspark, no." Eren looked up and widened his eyes as he saw Optimus' expression. His eyes, they looked like saucers. He looked at the metal titan in shock, surprise, and fear. Optimus was scared. But why? Who was this guy? Megatron, Optimus breathed. Chapter 12, Immortals. Who is that? Eren thought before standing up and leaning against a tree. "Eren, stay behind me," Optimus ordered. Eren was about to protest, but Optimus aimed his gun at the flying titan. He transformed his other hand and aimed it at the struggling Reiner. "What's going on?" Eren questioned as he moved forward. "That's an order," Optimus shouted as he noticed Eren moving. Eren noticed a fearful look in Optimus' eyes. Why was he so scared? "Impossible," the flying titan gasped as Eren looked at him. The flying titan, or Megatron, looked in their direction with eyes equally as wide as Optimus. But the flying titan's attention was directly focused on Optimus. You're alive?" the flying titan asked in surprise. "Wait, they know each other," Eren exclaimed. The three heard a crumbling noise and turned to see Reiner's steam coming from his body. He let out a deafening roar, causing Eren to cover his ears and close his eyes. Eren opened his eyes to see Optimus and Megatron completely unaffected by the attempt at challenge. Megatron looked up to see the muscular titan rip off his hand with the other one, throwing it on the other side of the wall. He didn't know what the frag was going on, but he took a deep breath and closed his optics. He knew he was making the right decision. Prime. Megatron called out as he looked at him, ignoring the fact that a gun was pointed at him. Whatever the situation is, I'm on your side. They do know each other. Eren realized. Why should I trust you? Optimus demanded. Because you know you can't do this on your own. Megatron answered. Optimus kept glancing back and forth at Megatron and Reiner. One was trying to kidnap Eren, but he was responsible for the near extinction of the human race. The other one may have ended the war, but he destroyed a planet and wreaked havoc throughout the galaxy. And he probably can't kill Megatron because he lost all of his upgrades. Optimus, you have to trust me. Megatron pleaded. I'm running out of time, Optimus thought. Reiner or Megatron? Optimus closed his optics. He prayed to Primus he was making the right decision. Optimus aimed both of his blasters at Reiner and fired at his chest. Reiner roared as the force knocked him to the ground. Optimus then put away his blasters before walking up to Megatron. I need you to fight the Colossal Titan. Optimus instructed as he pointed at Bertholdt. Megatron nodded his head and was about to fly up there, but Optimus grabbed his arm. Megatron was about to ask what else he wanted, but stopped when he saw Optimus glaring at him. Do not make me regret my decision, Optimus warned ominously. Megatron widened his optics in surprise as Optimus let go of his arm. He didn't say anything before transforming and flying towards Bertholdt. Optimus turned to see Eren running towards him, but he put his servo in front of him to prevent Eren from coming any closer. Eren, you need to leave, Optimus declared, causing Eren to roar in protest. Eren, this is not the time for protest. Optimus yelled, Reiner and Bertholdt are after you. You need to leave and head for Wall Sina. Go. Eren was about to protest again, but Optimus pushed him away. Before Eren could react, Reiner's fist slammed into the ground where he once was. Reiner then turned and punched Eren in the face. Eren's face was destroyed as his body skidded across the ground. Reiner was about to attack Eren again, but was shot in his upper back. He turned to see Optimus' blaster charging and ready to fire. Your fight is with me. Optimus declared, leave Eren out of this. About time you showed up, you fucking slowpoke, Levi remarked as he saw Erwin getting off of his horse and walking into the barracks. Sorry, Erwin apologized, ignoring Levi's comment, I had to get more men since more of ours just went into Walrose. You got people from the military police, didn't you? Levi assumed. The garrison has to guard the wall, Erwin reasoned. Well, they'll be the first to die, Levi proclaimed. Probably, Erwin agreed. Commander! A voice yelled. Levi and Erwin turned to see a girl run into the barracks almost tripping over some supplies. She stood up fully before saluting him. Sasha Blouse. She greeted. You're one of the new recruits, Levi realized. Where are the others? Erwin demanded. I don't know, Sasha answered, I split off from the group so I could go and find my village and bring them to the walls. But there's something I need to tell you. Something bad. Erwin slightly narrowed his eyes while Levi raised an eyebrow in curiosity. What do you mean? Erwin asked. There's just this, I really can't explain it that well, she admitted, it's just really bad and I tried explaining it to Optimus but he had to go and dash. Sasha, calm down, Erwin said as he put a hand on her shoulder, what did you sense? It was just this really bad energy, it wasn't anything like Optimus. It was just dark and it hurt and it gave me chills dash. Thank you, Sasha, Erwin interrupted, but right now we need you to keep a cool head. We need as many soldiers as we can get. Sasha was about to protest, but thought about what Erwin said and took a deep breath. Fine, Sasha gave in, I'll go get an extra 3D gear. Levi narrowed his eyes as he saw Sasha walk away while Erwin stood up and looked at him. I know that look, Levi said, what are you thinking? I'm taking Blau's senses into consideration, Erwin answered, her senses are similar to Mike's. If she's correct, then we might be dealing with something beyond our capabilities. Possibly one of Optimus' kind. Levi assumed. Hanji noticed Sasha reacting when Optimus was near her. Erwin explained, it could be possible she can sense those kinds of titans. Well, we'll find out when we get to the battlefield, Levi said, not much we can do now with all these unprepared men. God damn it. Connie yelled as the soldiers looked at the colossal titan, some of us don't have our 3D gear. We can go up against that thing. But Amir's in there. Historia retorted. It doesn't matter what happened. Hanji yelled, we need to kill the colossal titan. Armin looked up at the sky to see the flying titan making its way towards them. Squad leader, move. Armin yelled as he pulled her back. What, why? Hanji yelled. Armin pointed to the flying titan before yelping as Hanji tackled Armin out of the way. The flying titan transformed before landing on the wall between the Survey Corps and Berthold. Who the hell is that? A soldier yelled as the flying titan stood up fully. Hanji narrowed her eyes before they widened in realization. It's one of Optimus' kind. Armin looked at Hanji in surprise. How do you know? Look at the metal design, Hanji said, and the eyes, too. They may not be blue, but it has a similar look to Optimus, and it seems sentient. The flying titan looked back at the Survey Corps with his red eyes. Oh God, please tell me he's on our side. I don't wanna die, Connie spoke with a high pitch. Armin looked straight into his eyes and could see the intelligence that Hanji was talking about, but he also noticed the interaction with Optimus. Do those two know each other? The flying titan turned back, only to be met with Berthold roaring in his face. The Corps covered their ears while the flying titan looked rather unimpressed. Armin took his hands off of his ears and looked to see the flying titan didn't even move. Did you get that out of your system? He asked, causing Berthold to look at him in shock. All right then, shall I slice your throat open first or rip out your tongue? The flying titan asked as he showed his claws. Oh my fuck, he has claws, Hanji breathed. Berthold raised his right hand while the titan simply stood there. He slammed his fist down, but the Cybertronian grabbed the object on his back and raised it above his head. Berthold's fist made contact with the object, causing a force that sent some of the soldiers back. Armin tried to keep his eyes open from the wind while Hanji wiped her glasses to see the object protecting him. Wait, isn't that a shield? Hanji questioned. Shield. Armin repeated. It was a weapon that was used before the walls came to be, Hanji explained, there's even on at the castle where we've been hiding Eren. The flying titan grabbed the hilt on his side and flicked something, causing it to transform into a full-length sword. He used the sword to cut the colossal titan's wrist, causing the colossal titan to scream as the flying titan got into a fighting stance. He placed his shield in front of him while his grip on the sword tightened. Don't tell me, Armin thought, he's a soldier too. Berthold swung his fists at the flying titan, but the smaller titan jumped over it while the Corps that were close to the hand used their 3D gear to fly out of the way. The titan landed on the wall before taking his sword and throwing it in the larger titan's eye. The colossal titan roared while the flying titan jumped and grabbed the sword in the eye socket and pulled it out. He then stabbed the other eye before stepping on the larger titan's face and flipping back before landing on the wall. Hanji noticed the opportunity this presented and turned to her comrades. Men, this is the opportunity. We cannot let the colossal titan live. We need to cut the nape of the neck. The flying titan sliced the colossal titan's throat as he noticed the soldiers that had their 3D gear move towards the nape of the neck. Attack, now! Hanji yelled as they all latched onto the nape of the neck. Get off of it! The flying titan yelled at them. Before Hanji could react, the colossal titan roared as he let out clouds of steam to defend himself. The Corps yelled and tried to shield themselves from the hot smoke while the flying titan placed his shield in front of him. Fall back! Hanji yelled. The Corps members tried their best to navigate through the smoke and landed on the wall behind the flying titan. For fuck's sakes, what the hell? A soldier exclaimed as he grabbed his burning arm. We can't get close to the colossal titan because of that steam, Armin realized as he got his grappling hook, only for it to lazily fly in the air. As long as it's up we can't do anything. The Flying Titan placed the shield on his back and the sword at his side before he transformed and flew into the air. How is he flying? Hanji asked in shock. Is that Titan flying? Historia asked in surprise. The Flying Titan stopped over the Colossal Titan before transforming and diving. He grabbed his sword and let out a battle cry before beheading the larger Titan, unknowing to everyone that he missed the nape of the neck. Everyone's mouths dropped as the Flying Titan skidded to a stop while the head rolled off the left side of the wall. The Flying Titan stood up and looked at his sword to see the blood evaporating from his blade. He then looked over at the core, causing many of them to feel uneasy. Get back, Hans ordered Connie and Krista as his hand went for his blade. You know Wen can't fight this Titan, Armin whispered to Hanji, and we don't know if it's really on our side. I know, Hanji answered, but we can't just leave Optimus and Eren. The Flying Titan raised an eyebrow at their conversation before looking down the wall to see Optimus and Reiner fighting. Their hands were locked together as one tried to push down the other. Hanji looked at the still steaming body of the Colossal Titan before looking down at Optimus. Damn it, she felt useless. The Flying Titan flipped the sword to where he was holding the blade in his hand before putting two clawed fingers to the side of his head. Optimus, I need you to move on my mark, the Flying Titan spoke. Armin and Hanji looked in confusion before looking down and seeing that Optimus was looking back at the Flying Titan. Wait, they're communicating. Hanji exclaimed. Now! The Flying Titan yelled. Optimus let go and jumped back, causing Reiner to stumble forward. The Flying Titan then threw the blade at Reiner. The blade spun and cut the joint muscle of Reiner's right arm. The blade stabbed the ground as Reiner's right arm fell limp at his side. Optimus took this distraction as an opportunity and punched Reiner in the face. The Flying Titan looked over by the tree to see Eren's lying on the ground while his face was almost done regenerating. The Flying Titan jumped down from the wall and landed on the ground before walking over to Eren. Wait! Armin yelled, but the Flying Titan simply ignored him. Squad leader, what do we do about the Colossal Titan? A soldier asked as he pointed to the still steaming Colossal Titan. Hanji sighed. We have to wait. Even though the Colossal Titan's been defeated, the steam will prevent us from actually touching the Titan shifter. Eren. Mikasa yelled as she landed on the ground to the side of his regenerating face, Eren. Get up. Eren. Eren groaned as he sat up and rubbed his head before feeling a shadow looming over him. He looked up to see Megatron staring down at him with crossed arms. Mikasa gritted her teeth as she pulled out her last blades, but widened her eyes as Eren pulled her back as gently as possible. Eren, Mikasa began. Eren didn't know what this Titan was capable of. He had no clue. Optimus seems to know him, but also fears him. Is this Titan a former enemy? Megatron narrowed his eyes at Eren, analyzing him to try and find out what was wrong with him. He widened his eyes and looked over at Reiner before looking back at the collapsed Berthold. Eren widened his eyes in shock as he looked at the Colossal Titan's steaming body. Did this Titan take down Berthold? I'm not going to repeat this question, Megatron stated, so answer me this, are you an ally to Optimus or not? Eren grew stiff. Should he answer? Should he say no? He couldn't beat Optimus. How can he defend himself against a Titan that was armed literally to the teeth? Megatron sighed in irritation over Eren's weary expression. I don't really care. But if you try to attack me, I guarantee your blood will spill. Megatron took the shield on his back and placed it on the ground in front of Eren before walking over to the other two Titans fighting. Eren let out a breath that he didn't realize he was holding and looked down at the shield. Why did he give him this? What is this even? Eren, we need to go, Mikasa spoke. Eren. Eren stood up and picked up the shield before looking at his reflection and the unknown writing. Is this a weapon? Optimus pelted rounds of energon at Reiner, causing Reiner to shield himself away from the blast. It wasn't working. Why wasn't it working? Optimus looked behind him to see Megatron walking over towards them while casually grabbing the sword that was still in the ground. Optimus saw Reiner running towards him and took a deep breath before closing his optics. When Reiner raised his fists to punch him, Optimus turned and ducked. Reiner widened his eyes as he was met with a clawed fist to the face. Reiner stumbled back and gritted his teeth, but widened his eyes as Megatron spun and sliced at Reiner with his sword. Megatron sliced at Reiner twice, leaving 2 cuts in his armor plating on his chest. Reiner tried to attack again, but Megatron turned and Reiner was met with a gun to his face. Reiner grunted as he tried to wipe the smoke from his eyes. When he did, Megatron sliced his jaw muscle. Part of Reiner's mouth hung open as Megatron sliced open his wrist. Megatron was about to attack again, but Reiner managed to knock Megatron's sword out of his hand. Megatron watched as his sword skidded across the ground before looking at Reiner. Reiner raised his right hand and tried to punch Megatron, but Megatron grabbed Reiner by the throat and began choking him. The armored titan tried to rip off the clawed hand as Megatron lifted him in the air. Reiner internally cursed and kicked his legs as he felt the grip get tighter. Damn it! The grip was getting too tight. He could end up dead in a matter of minutes. Reiner widened his eyes as he saw this flying titan smirk at him with pointed teeth. The flying titan then raised his clawed hand and plunged it deep into his chest. The Survey Corps and Eren looked in shock while Optimus grimaced. Reiner then watched in horror as the flying titan ripped out his heart from his chest. Megatron dropped Reiner while holding the still beating heart. Reiner tried to still stand, but ended up leaning against a tree and watched as he crushed the beating heart. "Oh my god," Armin gasped. "What kind of monster is he?" A soldier asked in fear. "He is glorious," Hanji smiled wickedly. Reiner looked at his bleeding chest as Megatron flicked some of the blood off of his hands. He then moved to the side as Optimus charged his blaster and aimed it at his gaping chest. Before Optimus fired, he slightly yelped as Megatron pushed him out of the way. Optimus turned his blaster at Megatron, ready to fire, but Reiner ran through the both of them at high speeds. Scrap! Optimus internally cursed. Eren widened his eyes as he saw Reiner running at high speeds towards him. Despite Mikasa's cries to move, Eren didn't listen as he grabbed the shield by the metal circles and lifted it to block Reiner's fist. Reiner's fist collided with the shield, the force making his feet sink into the ground. Eren widened his eyes as he noticed the position that he was in. This thing worked. "Eren!" Hanji yelled, "The shield is used for defense." Eren nodded his head in understand before moving and making a grab for Reiner's broken jaw and ripped it off. Optimus widened his optics as he saw Eren battling the armored titan. He stood up and charged his blaster. "That blaster's not going to work on that thing's armor," Megatron remarked as he wiped off what remained of Reiner's blood. Optimus aimed the blaster at Megatron's chest and glared. "Do not test me." "I wasn't trying to," Megatron stated, "but you know that the Energon hasn't been working. And you may possibly hit your friend if the armored one makes the right move." "Why are you here?" Optimus asked. Megatron deadpanned. "Are you serious, Prime? You're interrogating me, now?" "I don't know. Maybe I went into self-exile with my existing body. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're supposed to be dead." Optimus simply stared at Megatron as the ex-tyrant took a deep breath. "I don't know what your mindset is right now, but knowing you want to protect the humans," Megatron proclaimed. "You don't trust me, then fine. Consider this a temporary alliance." Optimus didn't say anything as he lowered his blaster. "And the reason your attack did not work is because a titan can only be stopped by cutting the nape of the neck." "I've noticed," Megatron said, "but this one is completely armored. We need to find a way to take the titan off guard." "What do you have in mind?" Optimus asked. "How the hell did the armored titan get so fast?" a soldier yelled. "Well, it had to deal with something about the legs," Hanji explained. "Armor back in the day didn't completely cover the body. It's somewhat similar to Optimus. The armor wouldn't cover joint areas like the neck, arms, and the back of his knees." Eren tried punching Reiner again, but his hand shattered on contact with the armor. Reiner then turned to the offensive and started punching Eren, but Eren used the shield to defend himself. Eren then slammed the shield twice in Reiner's face before shoving the edge of the shield into Reiner's neck. Reiner then grabbed the shield and threw to the side before kicking Eren in the chest. Eren coughed up blood as he felt his ribs crack under the pressure. Eren's titan form ended up skidding across the floor before slamming into a tree. "Eren!" Mikasa yelled as Eren groaned and clutched his chest in pain. Mikasa growled as she jumped off of the tree she was on and flew over to Reiner as he walked towards Eren. Mikasa! Armin yelled as she tried to cut open the nape by stabbing repeatedly at it. Armin looked over at the two Cybertronians. The Flying Titan grabbed his sword while Optimus charged his blasters. Mikasa, move! Armin practically screamed. Mikasa jumped and flew off the nape of the neck. Reiner then grunted as he felt a volley of bullet near his neck as he tried to block it. Optimus kept a safe distance as he made sure that he was firing at the neck. Reiner tried to block it, but widened his eyes as Megatron drop-kicked him into the wall. As Reiner got up and raised his fist to attack Megatron, Optimus kneed him in the face and tackled him to the ground. Reiner then started waving his hands blindly as Optimus revved up the wheels on his legs and forced them onto his face. Reiner managed to grab Optimus and throw He-Metal Titan off of him. He wiped his eyes of the tire marks and gasped as Megatron jumped into the air and was ready to stab Reiner in the neck. Reiner managed to roll out of the way at the last second as Megatron's sword stabbed the ground. Optimus skidded across the ground behind Megatron and fired a volley of bullets at Reiner. Reiner's paranoia ended up growing and he covered the nape of his neck with both arms. Optimus transformed his right blaster into a blade as Megatron stood next to him with his sword. The two ran towards Reiner and sliced at the exposed muscle in the abdominal area. Reiner removed his hands from his neck, tried to hit the two Cybertronians. They both ducked at the same time before flipping back and getting into their fighting stances. The two then ran towards Reiner as he went back to protecting his neck. The two then jumped into the air as they sliced off Reiner's arm through his joints. They both skidded to a stop before turning and cutting through the back of Reiner's knees. Reiner tried his best to balance, but widened his eyes as Optimus and Megatron skidded to a stop before turning around. The two soldiers let out a battle cry as they both punched Reiner in the face. The armor on his face was destroyed as he slammed into the wall with a loud slam. The Survey Corps looked in shock while Eren looked in surprise. Those two were in perfect sync and their techniques were flawless. How? Is it because they know each other? Reiner tried to back away from the two Titans as they were practically glaring at him. The armored Titan gritted his teeth before taking a deep breath and letting out a loud screech. Optimus and Megatron winced at the sound while everyone else covered their ears. Armin looked up at the colossal Titan and noticed that it was forcing itself up. Hanji! Armin yelled in fear. Is he calling for reinforcements? Megatron asked. It's highly possible, Optimus answered. Optimus, dodge! Armin screamed. Optimus looked up and his optics snapped in shock as he saw the body of the colossal Titan fall towards them. Optimus grunted as Megatron pushed him out of the way before the collision caused a bright explosion. Optimus slammed into a couple of trees before passing out from the impact. Levi scowled in irritation as he put on his 3D gear as he heard the military police acting like the cocky bastards they were. He's seen them in the slums back in Sina before he joined the Corps. They weren't even going to survive. Erwin was right about that. Hey, Levi, where's our prey? A policeman asked with confidence. Oh, Levi began, looks like you regret that it's peaceful. We'll end up fighting the Titans side by side. So what do ya say if we go in right now? Levi began to see their facade cracking, each were making up petty excuses about their jobs in the inner walls. Levi then looked over to see Sasha slightly rocking herself to try and find some relief. It looks like it's getting worse, Levi thought. He could tell her sixth sense and whatever she was panicking about was eating at her, but his didn't exactly know how to calm her. The Vanguard squad is back. A soldier yelled as he ran in the barracks, somebody inform Commander Pixis. Erwin and Levi, along with the rest of the soldiers, watched as the soldier who came back looked at them with fear. We found no breaches on the wall, he began. Pixis hummed in response. I suspected so. But the situation is still bad. He continued, when our squad was prepared to report to Trost with Survey Corps squad leader Hanji, she came back with their newest members of the 104th squad that didn't have any 3D maneuver gear. Among those recruits, there were 3 who turned out to be Titans. Everyone widened their eyes in shock. More Titan shifters. Jean breathed, what do you mean? 3 more were Titans. Who dash? Jean, wait, Erwin instructed, What happened after their identities were exposed? They engaged the colossal and armored Titan. He answered, and then a Titan that could fly just appeared out of nowhere. Everyone seemed to be surprised and confused as Levi noticed Erwin's face full of dread. Flying Titan. Pixis raised an eyebrow. Men, prepare for battle. Erwin ordered, we will ride on the wall to Trost to aid our comrades in the situation. Yes, sir. Some of the soldiers said before they all made their way into the barracks. Pixis, I need you to help me get the horses on the wall, Erwin requested. Oi, Erwin, Levi began as pushed him, what the hell's got you worked up? Levi, no Titans can fly as far as we're concerned, Erwin began. So? Who's the only one that has knowledge of traveling beyond this world? Erwin inquired. Levi slightly widened his eyes. It's one of Optimus' kind. Erwin nodded his head. Well, if it is one of Optimus' kind, he or she could possibly be on our side, Pixis reasoned. Optimus' kind is extremely intelligent with technology we can only dream of. He said that he just ended a war, so there may be some of his enemies who aren't exactly satisfied with losing, Erwin began, and Sasha has also been paranoid of a dark force, and at the same time this flying Titan appears. We may be dealing with something beyond our power, Levi concluded. And the Titan's allegiance is one of the problems we have to worry about, Erwin added. Chapter 13, Pursuit. Erwin, Levi began as the soldiers were riding on top of the wall, are you sure that this Titan is one of Optimus' kind? I'm certain, Erwin answered, unless there's a Titan shifter who can fly, then it has to be a Cybertronian. They also provided a description of the flying Titan. A gray, battle-scarred Titan armed literally to the teeth, Levi stated, do you think it might be that lizard that Hanji managed to find out about? The Titan wasn't stated to be lizard-like or actually having wings, Erwin retorted, and Optimus said that only 3 of those beasts, or Predacons I believe, exist. I doubt one of those creatures would make its way to our world since only 3 are in existence. The two heard more hissing and turned to see Sasha acting more erratic and jittery. It's getting worse, Levi remarked. It also said in the report that the flying Titan took down the colossal Titan, Erwin added. Levi looked in surprise. That seems pretty challenging. No one was even able to make contact with it, Erwin continued, and this Titan is able to take it down without any issue. It also seemed that Optimus knew who he was. Levi slightly grimaced. Optimus has been getting mad lately and Sasha been acting up ever since this Titan arrived. Something tells me this isn't going to end well. Eren groaned as he heard someone yelling at him. He tried to focus as the noise grew louder and louder. Wake up! The voice yelled. Eren's eyes snapped open as he tried to kick the person who tried to wake up. Eren crouched and threw a punch, but the figure caught his fist with a clawed hand. He widened his eyes in fear as he realized that he tried to attack the flying Titan. The flying Titan, or Megatron, as Optimus referred to, simply deadpanned at the attempt at attack. Really? He questioned before sighing, look, I don't know if you can understand me, but I'm going to let go. I'm not here to fight. Megatron let go of Eren's hand while Eren slowly pulled back his. Eren gave Megatron a cautious look as the Cybertronian stood up and wiped his clawed hands. The flying Titan looked down at Eren and held out his hand for him to take. Eren slightly hesitated as he took his hand and was brought to his feet. Megatron raised an eyebrow as he looked at Eren's mouth. You can't speak, can you? Eren simply shook his head. Not my problem, Megatron said, either way, your comrades are concerned for you. Eren widened his eyes as he looked up to see soldiers recovering. He ran over to the wall while Megatron leaned against a tree. Eren, Mikasa sighed with relief as she looked down the wall. Eren, are you okay? Armin asked, earning a nod from him. Eren then looked over to see the crater in the ground next to the wall. What happened? Eren looked up and pointed to the crater near him. Armin used his 3D gear and came down the wall and placed himself next to Eren. Berthold collided with Reiner, causing the explosion, Armin began. Armin covered his eyes as the steam prevented him from seeing the remains. Armin managed to see Berthold crawl out of the colossal Titan's corpse, carrying Ymir in his arms. Reiner managed to regenerate him limbs as he walked toward Eren. Armin panicked as Reiner was about to grab Eren by the neck, but Reiner pulled his hand back as a sword almost hit him in the arm. Reiner turned and looked in fear as Megatron was on one knee while resting his hand on the other. Reiner backed away while Berthold attached to Reiner's neck and sat on his shoulder. Megatron struggled to his feet as Reiner walked backwards before running off. Megatron began huffing before he collapsed on the ground unconscious. Eren widened his eyes as he looked back at Megatron, who was simply tapping his claw on his arm. He saved him. Wait a minute, shit. Optimus. Eren thought as he looked around frantically. He's over there, Megatron said as he pointed to another set of tree. Eren widened his eyes in fear as he saw Optimus' unconscious form next to a couple of broken trees. Eren ran to Optimus while Armin attended to Mikasa's injuries. Armin, do you know who that Titan is? Mikasa asked. No one does, Armin answered, the only one who seems to know is Optimus. How long has it been since they attacked? Mikasa asked. About 5 hours, Armin answered, the Flying Titan hasn't really made a move since then, so he could possibly be an ally. Commander Erwin, Hans called out as Erwin came riding on a horse with other Survey Corps and military police members. I'm impressed that you've managed to bring horses to the top of the wall, Hans remarked. That's beside the point, Erwin declared as he got off his horse. Jean, Armin said as Jean got off of his horse and walked over to him and Mikasa. I heard what happened, Jean began, did they really appear? Armin nodded his head. And that's not all. One of Optimus' kind showed up. Jean widened his eyes in shock. What dash? What the hell is that? Levi demanded. The soldiers that weren't injured looked down to see the Flying Titan fiddling with his sword. We're calling him the Flying Titan, Hans explained, he just came in and started helping us. Looks like he just came out of hell, Levi remarked. Armin noticed Sasha loudly hissing and shaking as she tried to move farther away from the Flying Titan. Her reaction to this Titan was worse than with just Optimus. Who is that? Jean asked. I don't know, Mikasa admitted, no one does. But something's not right, Armin realized. Besides the fact that he looks like the devil himself, Jean commented. No, Armin answered, the Flying Titan was away before any of us were, and he also seemed to know Optimus. But instead of waking Optimus up, he wakes up Eren. As Eren was trying to wake up Optimus, the Flying Titan looked up the wall and narrowed his eyes at Erwin and Levi. Erwin, that's the exact same metal as Optimus, Levi realized, you're right, it's one of Optimus' kind. But something different about this one, Erwin noticed, Optimus told us that most of his species' eyes are blue. This one has red. Think we might be dealing with an enemy? Levi asked. I pray not, Erwin answered, Optimus has technological advancements that we could only dream of. It wouldn't be beneficial to mankind if this one has dark intentions. Eren's eyes brightened with relief as he heard Optimus groan. Megatron noticed this and retracted the blade of his sword before placing it back on his hip. Eren then made some room for him as Optimus sat up and rubbed his head. Eren growled with concern as Optimus turned to him. I'm fine, Optimus insisted as he tried to stand up. Eren immediately helped him up before Optimus gestured that he was fine. Optimus rubbed his helm to ease the pain. What happened after I? Eren noticed Optimus' eyes growing bigger before they grew rather dark. Where is he? Optimus demanded. Eren assumed that Optimus was referring to Megatron and pointed behind him. Megatron stood up straight as Optimus turned to look at him. Eren could practically feel the tension growing between the two titans. Eren, stay behind me, Optimus instructed, that is an order. Eren looked in confusion. Megatron didn't seem so bad. Why was Optimus still paranoid? Why is Optimus glaring at him? Mikasa asked. Optimus doesn't usually, Jean trailed off. He had been pretty mad lately, Armin retorted. The tension between them only grew worse when Optimus took out his blaster and aimed it at Megatron. Berthold held his tongue in pain as he tried regenerating his hand. When the limb finished, his hand was still covered in dark spots and part of his ring finger was gone. It's not changing back, Berthold began to panic, why isn't it changing back? Berthold, calm down, Reiner said, we'll figure something out. It's a good thing you ripped off your Titan hand when you did, or it could have been worse. But how are they going to fix it? Berthold asked. Annie can't regenerate her arm because of that stupid Energon thing. Berthold winced in pain as he felt the insides of his hand boiling. He then widened his eyes as his head began throbbing from the pain. Why does it hurt so much? Berthold asked himself. Reiner looked at his friend with uncertainty and concern. He didn't know what to do. This Energon thing was posing a really big problem for them. And now, there was another Titan that had strength and power like Optimus, if not more. That beast tore out his own heart like it was child's play. Reiner put his hand over his eyes as he began shaking himself. He's never been so terrified in his life. They also didn't grab Eren because of that stupid Titan that survived the explosion. He was barely managing against Optimus. How the hell would they go up against one that could fly? Reiner heard Ymir groan as she woke up and looked at her regenerating arms. She looked over at the two Titan shifters in confusion before realizing the situation. Great, Ymir groaned, I'm a hostage to the colossal and armored Titan. Ymir looked down to see Titans surrounding the trees below them, waiting for one of them to fall. So, what are you going to do with me? Ymir asked. We're taking you back to our hometown, Reiner answered, and we already suspect that you're not going to cooperate. But we can't move now since the Titans are active. So we're waiting until nightfall to make our move. Well, you have armor, right? Ymir asked, so why can't you just run now? Did you get tired and decide to take a break? I'll let you decide, Reiner answered. Ymir heard hissing as he looked over to see Berthold clutching his head in pain and saw that his hand had third-degree burns. What happened to him? Ymir asked, did he get hit by Optimus? No, Reiner answered, it was another metal Titan. One that could fly. Ymir looked in shock. One that could fly. Reiner nodded his head. We have to warn them. As soldiers we have to protect them from this threat. We're not powerful enough to dash. Reiner, Berthold winced, we're not soldiers. We're warriors. Ymir looked at Reiner as he collapsed on the tree branch while thinking it over. Yuri right. Mikasa, Armin, Jean, and Eren widened their eyes in shock while Erwin narrowed his. Seems like he's got dark intentions, Levi proclaimed as his hand went for his blade. Wait, Levi, Erwin said as he put his hand in front of Levi, let's see how this plays out. Besides, we can't take him out. His eyes are a weak point, Levi commented. Eren watched as Megatron raised his hands in the universal sign of surrender. I'm not here to fight, Prime, Megatron stated, I'm here to talk. Optimus didn't move, causing Megatron to sigh in irritation. Well then, Megatron began, I'm going to make a guess that, because I now know the true meaning of oppression and have thus lost my taste for inflicting it, has going completely past your processors. What are you doing here? Optimus demanded. Megatron scoffed. What am I doing here? Unless if you've gotten amnesia again, I'm the one who should be asking that question. Last I recall, you became one with our planet's core. Megatron took a small step back as Optimus aimed another blaster at him. I will not ask again, what are you doing? Optimus demanded as he charged his blasters. He knows about the core, Erwin thought as he looked at Levi. Optimus never said he lost his memory, Levi remarked. Why? Mikasa questioned, they were just working together. Why is Optimus trying to kill him now? Mikasa is right, Armin thought. Optimus was never really someone who wanted to kill, so then why would he try to kill this Titan? Optimus seemed to know who he is and Optimus just ended a war. Could it be possible that this Titan is a Decepticon? Possibly, but it didn't have the Decepticon symbol. Damn it, who could this Titan be? I left Cybertron, Megatron stated, I left because I have no reason to be there. I've been traveling through space for a month before I found myself on this twisted version of Earth. The world where humanity is free. Eren thought. How does he know about that place? And what of Cybertron? Optimus asked. Who knows, Megatron answered, I left after I saw you sacrifice yourself. I never made contact with anyone else since then. Give me one good reason why I should not kill you right now, Optimus practically ordered. Megatron didn't say anything as he put his hands down. I don't have one. Optimus widened his optics in shock. What? The crimes I have committed in the past are ones that can never be overlooked. I'm no longer wanted on Cybertron, I have to remain in hiding because everyone wants me dead, and I can no longer return to the Allspark because my spark is corrupted. Megatron explained. Megatron removed the hilt at his waist and threw it at Optimus' feet. You want to kill me, then go ahead, Megatron said as he stretched his arms out, leaving his chest wide open. You'd be doing many others a favor. Aaron looked with concern. Was Optimus really going to kill him? Optimus was having a serious internal conflict. Many parts of him were screaming at him to kill Megatron. Don't let the humans get involved. Protect his new family. But a small part of him was telling him to give Megatron a chance. He abandoned the Decepticon cause right before his optics and didn't try to kill him or any of the humans. Matter of fact, he did the one thing that he despised most and helped them. His reasoning came back and told him that Megatron is a master manipulator. He's probably waiting to attack them all at their most vulnerable. Even if he was surrendering, wait a minute. Megatron would never surrender. He would never surrender to anyone. He even said he was commanded by no one. So why would he surrender? Megatron wouldn't just give up on life. If anything, he would fight until his last breath. The Megatron he knew, the Megatron. He doesn't exist anymore, and Optimus can't tell what's left of him now. Optimus changed one of his guns back into a servo and picked up the hilt at his feet. He knew what he was about to do may destroy humanity, but if Megatron really has changed from what he's seen, then he would try to take a risk. Optimus powered down his other blaster before changing it back into his servo. Is he an ally or what? Levi demanded. Optimus looked up at the wall. Survey Corps, there is no need to fear. Megatron is an ally to humanity. Armin and Jean widened their eyes in shock and fear and looked at each other. Megatron. The leader of the Decepticons. Oh my god. Optimus, what are you doing? Jean questioned as quietly as possible. For now, Optimus thought as he walked past Megatron. Try anything and I will grant you your death wish, Optimus swore in Cybertronian. Megatron looked at Optimus with an unreadable expression. Noted. Erwin noticed Armin and Jean's fearful expression as they heard the Flying Titan's name. Erwin, they know something, Levi remarked as he noticed their expressions as well. We'll ask them later, Erwin declared. Captain Hans. Yes sir, Hans spoke. Did the colossal and armored Titan capture anyone? Erwin asked. They took Ymir, Historia answered as she walked up to him. She's a Titan shifter as well and can be beneficial to humanity. At the same time the two probably haven't go that far, Erwin added. Erwin. A voice yelled. Erwin looked down to see a injured Hanji trying to crawl over to him. I need the map. Give me the map, Hanji said. Aaron, Optimus spoke, go to the wall and hear the plan. Aaron looked at him with concern before slowly walking to the wall. He looked at the two Titans whose backs were facing each other as he had more questions about them now. How does Optimus know Megatron? So do you mind telling me what's going on in the twisted world? Megatron demanded. I have no reason to trust you, Optimus retorted, let alone tell you anything. I can still make assumptions, Megatron commented. Optimus looked back at him and remembered something that he noticed during the battle. What happened to your Dark Energon powers? I could ask the same about your upgrades, Megatron retorted before chuckling. I guess Primus has limitations when in the core of our planet. You still have not answered my question, Optimus spoke. Do you really think that Unicron would leave his vessel with the power to defend himself? Megatron rhetorically asked. The only thing Unicron cares about is destruction, Optimus commented. Optimus. Armin called out as he landed on Aaron's shoulder. Reiner and Berthold are in one of the forest of giant trees. Well, your enemy left a pretty noticeable trail, Megatron commented as he pointed to the armored Titan's footprints. And you didn't bother to go after them. Historia yelled, when did you even wake up? Armin's face filled with dread while Jean put his arm around Historia's mouth. Historia's mouth was muffled as she was trying to demand why he was doing this. Megatron raised an eyebrow at the girl before shrugging it off. "I'll move on ahead and slow their movements," Megatron said to Optimus. Optimus simply nodded his head before Megatron jumped in the air and transformed into a fighter jet. Erwin and Levi looked in shock while Gene's mouth dropped as Megatron flew above the trail of footprints. "You've got to be shitting me," Levi said in disbelief. "Optimus," Erwin called out as Erwin hooked himself to the wall and jumped down to his eye level, "who is that Titan and why did you try to kill him?" "Commander, the situation is complicated," Optimus answered. "I need to confirm if he truly is an ally. I will explain this to you later, but for now stay away from him." Historia managed to grab Gene's arms and push him away from her. "What the hell is your problem? You're gonna thank me later. Trust me," Gene declared. "Optimus, what are you thinking?" Armin thought. Aaron noticed Armin's distressed look and wondered why he was so scared of Megatron. Aaron felt something at his foot and looked down to see the shield that he used to fight on the ground. Aaron picked up the shield off the ground and looked at his reflection. He then looked at the direction Megatron took off to. "Can you stand?" Reiner asked Berthold as he put a hand on his shoulder. "I don't know," Berthold answered, "everything hurts." Reiner looked at his friend with concern before looking back to see Ymir finish regenerating her arms. Ymir's Titan form was fast. And the only reason why was because she ate their friend as they made their journey to the wall. If they made one wrong move in detaining her, then they could both end up dead. He had to convince her to be on their side. "Ymir," Reiner began, "do you really think that this world has a future?" Ymir looked at Reiner in confusion, trying to pinpoint what he was getting at. "If you really think that's the case, then wouldn't it be best to come to our side?" Reiner asked. Ymir scoffed with a smirk. "What makes you so sure that you can trust me?" "I can't even trust you." "I can trust you," Reiner admitted. "You're trying to protect Krista, right?" Berthold looked at Reiner with concern while Ymir widened her eyes. "We can both agree on that topic," Reiner continued. "I know it seems like I'm joking, but you and I both know we can agree on that notion." "Reiner," Berthold began as she stood up and leaned against the tree. "We can't guarantee your safety, but we may be able to help when it comes to Krista," Reiner declared. "You or Krista. Take your pick." "Reiner, wait," Berthold began as he saw Ymir contemplating. "She ate Marcel, didn't she?" "Right," Reiner said. "She became human again, so she probably wanted to play her cards right and live. Until she met Krista. She met someone more important than herself and was willing to risk her life for her." "Reiner," Berthold looked at his friend with uncertainty as he held his hand. "What are you now?" "Relax, I'm still a warrior," Reiner reassured, "but Krista is apparently part of the Wallist group. If we bring her along, she can be useful in helping us finding the coordinate if Aaron isn't it. Then we can go home." "What about Optimus?" Berthold demanded. "He's too powerful. Even in our Titan forms he could still manage to kill us. And that flying Titan." Berthold began shaking again at the thought of that monster. "What the hell are we supposed to do?" Reiner didn't know. He didn't know how he was supposed to reassure him. Reiner heard a loud engine noise and looked to the sky to see the same flying object that turned out to be the flying Titan searching the area. "Shit!" Reiner cursed. "What?" Ymir demanded. "What the hell is that?" They found us," Berthold exclaimed. Reiner used his 3D gear to jump onto the tree branch Ymir was on and grabbed her by the waist. "What the hell are you assholes doing?" Ymir demanded. "You want to live to protect Krista. Then shut up," Reiner ordered. The soldiers continued to ride towards the forest as Armin looked over at Optimus as he drove on ahead. "Optimus," Armin thought, "I really don't know what you want. Why would you allow Megatron to live? Do you think that Megatron has changed?" Armin looked over at Gene to see his worried expression as he looked at Optimus. Gene was probably thinking the same thing. He couldn't tell if Optimus was even thinking straight. He didn't care about what he told him that night. He just wanted to know what the hell was going on in Optimus' head. "His name is Megatron," Optimus began. "He was the leader of the Decepticons." "What was he like?" Gene asked. "How did you first meet him?" "Gene, wait," Armin interrupted before turning to Optimus. I met him during the twilight hours of the Golden Age on Cybertron, Optimus answered. I was still an archivist at that time, and I have been noticing many corrupt places within the government and other high places. Like what? Armin asked. Many lower-class citizens were forced into manual labor. They were practically slaves to masters down there. Many have died due to horrific working conditions and abuse, Optimus answered. Then I heard of a gladiator who wanted to change the system. Gladiator? Gene repeated. A gladiator is a warrior who fights in an arena for many reasons: glory, power, survival. The gladiator champion took the name of one of the 13 original primes, Megatronus. Megatronus spoke of changing to system of Cybertron, to replace the system so that all Cybertronians would be created equal. I believed in those words as well. So I began meeting up with Megatronus and discussing possible solutions to a better system. I began to trust him after we met. I considered him brother. You guys had the same goal, so how did you two end up on opposite sides? Armin asked. I questioned Megatronus' motives when there were actions committed under his name, Optimus explained. A little while after I heard of these actions, Megatronus and I were advised to go to the High Council to propose our solution. But that was when I saw that Megatronus believed violence would be a means to obtain peace. I knew that what Megatronus was saying could put both of us in prison and label our revolution as terrorism. So I stepped in and spoke of using non-violence as a means to obtain peace. When I finished, the High Council believed my words and even anointed me to become the next Prime. Well, that's good, right? Gene questioned. Armin noticed Optimus tightening the grip on his arm. No, Optimus answered, that was the problem. I never asked to become a Prime. Megatronus wanted the title of Prime and worked for it in his way, and it was given to me instead. I had no choice but to accept because the Senate was still in power, and that ended up causing a rift between us. I tried speaking reason to him, but he refused to listen. He ended up killing a member of the council in his rage. He severed all ties with me, and he started a war a few days later. Armin and Gene looked at each other in surprise before looking back at Optimus. I believed that he still wanted a better future for Cybertron when the war started, but as time went on, he became cruel, manipulating, and sadistic. He would kill anyone who got in his way of his seemingly endless quest for power. I begged him, to end the senseless fighting multiple times, but he refused to listen. Armin could see the pain in Optimus' eyes as he continued telling them about this Megatron. It must have been hard for him to fight someone that he was close to. I'm sorry, Armin apologized, I shouldn't have asked you something so personal. It is all right, Armin, Optimus reassured, the only thing I ask of you is to not share the information. Just like the Survey Corps, I do not know who I can trust here. When the time is right and I am sure that I can trust the Survey Corps, then I may discuss with them something that is that personal. We won't tell, Gene proclaimed, we promise. Armin looked over at Commander Erwin, who began to notice his distressed look. He knew that the commander knew he and Gene knew something about Megatron. But he couldn't shake the distressed feeling. Optimus told the two of them that Megatron was a fighter before the war, but he could have killed Colossal and Armored Titan so effortlessly and would have no regrets whatsoever about it. He tore his heart out. The only one who had the power to go against him was Optimus, and he didn't kill him. Why? Why didn't Optimus kill him? He can't be letting personal feelings get in the way, can he? Everyone slightly closed their eyes as they saw a bright light in the forest. It's a Titan transformation, Erwin declared. Optimus, I found the Armored One, Megatron informed through his COMM link. He's heading out of the forest, and is running at his top speed. Berthold held onto Amir and Reiner ran as fast as he could to Wall Maria. Amir probably has no choice, but to comply. They were probably the only chance to survive and help her get rid of this Titan power. Amir looked back at Wall Rose with sadness. She would probably never see Krista again, but she didn't even know if she would be safe with the Corps. Reiner skidded to a stop as the Flying Titan landed in front of them. Amir looked in awe and fear, and she saw the Flying Titan look at them. I'm certain that you do not want to fight me again, the Flying Titan declared, and I am not a merciful being. But since I am in a rather good mood, surrender now and I will let you live. Ymir clenched her teeth and jumped off of Reiner's shoulder and bit her hand. Megatron covered his face as Ymir's Titan form appeared. Optimus and the Survey Corps arrived on the scene as they saw Ymir getting ready to claw at Megatron. "Shit! Ymir, stop!" Connie yelled. Ymir grunted as Megatron grabbed her by her face, the clawed hand covering her eyes. "I'd take it that's a no," Megatron concluded as he crushed Ymir's face. "Ymir!" Historia screamed as Megatron threw her deformed Titan body aside. Eren looked in shock while Erwin narrowed his eyes at the strength of this Titan. Optimus transformed into his bipedal mode and looked at Ymir's crippled form. This was not going to end well. Levi looked to his left to see that Erwin wasn't there. What the hell is that bastard up to now? Berthold looked in fear at Ymir's crippled form. He had no choice. He had to protect Reiner. Berthold jumped off of Reiner's shoulder and landed on the ground. "Berthold, what are you doing?" Jean asked. Berthold didn't answer as he bit his uninjured hand, causing a large cloud of smoke to appear. The Survey Corps and military police looked in shock as the colossal Titan roared. "Damn it!" Mikasa growled as she pulled out her swords. Optimus transformed his servos into blasters and was prepared to fire, but felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned to see Megatron with his arms on his hips as he gestured Optimus to give him his sword back. Optimus sighed as he gave Megatron his weapon back. "Thank you," Megatron said as he transformed and flew into the air. "Berthold, why?" Connie yelled, "Why are you doing this?" Mikasa and Levi jumped off of their horses and latched onto the sides of the colossal Titan. They threw themselves into the air before landing and running on the arms of the beast. The colossal Titan then released large amounts of steam, preventing Mikasa and Levi from going anywhere near the neck. Optimus turned to see Reiner running towards him to attack him. Optimus was prepared to fire, but Eren jumped in the air and slammed the shield in Reiner's face. The two ended up rolling across the ground as Eren quickly stood up and into his fighting stance. "Ymir!" Historia cried as she rode up to her Titan form with Connie. Hans looked at the horizon before looking in horror. "Erwin! What the hell are you doing?" Everyone looked in shock as Erwin and a couple of other soldiers brought an army of Titans their way. Optimus pulled Eren back as the Titans attacked Reiner and the colossal Titan's feet. "All units disperse!" Erwin ordered as they moved away from the battle. Before Erwin could give another order, an aberrant Titan snuck up behind him and bit off his arm. "Commander!" Armin yelled. Erwin grunted in pain, but still kept a calm face. "Onward!" Everyone looked at him in shock. The chance to defeat the enemies to mankind is right before your eyes. "Onward!" Erwin yelled. Eren tried to move, but grunted as Berthold grabbed him and lifted him up in the air. "Eren!" Mikasa cried as she ran towards him on the muscular arm. Optimus tried to grab him, but grunted as Reiner threw a Titan at his torso. Eren slammed the shield on Berthold's wrist, which had little effect. Eren then heard shifting noises and looked up to see Megatron dive in and raise his blade. Megatron cut off Berthold's hand, causing Berthold to roar in pain. Mikasa lost her balance on the arm and ended up falling over. Levi then jumped off of the other arm and latched onto the colossal Titan's chest before swinging in and catching Mikasa. Megatron landed on his feet while Eren fell on his back. Eren forced himself out of the chopped-up limb as Megatron transformed and flew back up to the colossal Titan's neck. "Ymir! We need to run!" Historia begged as Ymir slowly got up and rubbed her head. "Krista! Come on!" Connie yelled as he tried to pull her away from Ymir. "Stop it!" Historia screamed. Berthold roared as he felt the Titans climbing up his leg. He began prying them off, unaware of Megatron flying right behind him. Megatron transformed and covered his optics as the steam prevented him from seeing. The Cybertronian landed on the neck of the colossal Titan and stabbed his sword in the back of the head. Berthold gasped in the nape of the neck as he began to lose control of his Titan form. He forced himself to raise his injured hand and grab Megatron, but Megatron pulled his sword out and cut the wrist, preventing him from grabbing Megatron. Megatron then used his claws and cut open the nape of the neck. Berthold screamed as Megatron pulled him out of the nape. Megatron jumped off of the neck as the corpse began to fall over. Levi gritted his teeth as he and Mikasa began to fall with the corpse. Eren saw the two and jumped into the air and grabbed them. Eren landed on his feet before he began rolling to break his fall. Optimus gasped as he and Reiner jumped out of the way as the body hit the ground, causing smoke and debris to rise up and blind them. Eren put down Levi and Mikasa as he attacked approaching Titans with his shield. Levi and Mikasa then latched onto Eren before swinging themselves at other Titans and slicing their necks. Eren continued to attack until he heard someone yell, "Hey bastard! I finally get to kill you after all these years." Eren turned and looked in shock and fear as he saw Hans fighting, the Titan that killed his mom. Hans! Eren screamed in his head. Eren looked in horror as the Titan grabbed Hans before biting his lower half. No, Eren thought, no. Eren roared at the top of his lungs as he punched the smiling Titan, causing him to drop the remaining dead half of his former friend. Everyone stopped moving as the Titans stopped their activities and began running towards the smiling Titan. They all tackled the smiling Titan and began to devour the body, causing everyone to look in shock. By the Allspark, Optimus whispered as Megatron landed next to him with a struggling Berthold in his hands. "Well, this is interesting," Megatron remarked. No, Reiner thought, it had to be him. It just had to be. The coordinate power just had to fall into Eren's hands. Reiner! He heard Berthold scream. Reiner turned and looked in horror to see Berthold in the hands of the flying Titan as he tried to break free from his grasp. "Reiner, help me!" Berthold begged. Reiner roared as he made his way to the two Titans. Eren noticed this and screamed at the top of his lungs, causing the Titans to stop devouring the smiling Titan and run straight for Reiner. "Reiner, no!" Berthold screamed. "Don't let this chance slip away. Pull away!" Erwin ordered as he held onto his bleeding shoulder. Historia held onto her horse as she saw Ymir looking back at a struggling Reiner. "Oi! What are you doing, you old hag?" Connie yelled, "Let's go." Ymir solemnly looked back at Historia as she gently touched her face. "Sorry." Historia widened her eyes in confusion before calling out her name as she ran back to help Reiner. Optimus transformed into his alt mode while Megatron transformed with a screaming Berthold in the cockpit. The soldiers continued going towards the wall while Eren began crying in pain as he continued running with them. Eren panted as people that remained in the expedition were pulled up to the wall. Connie panted while Historia practically fainted in Rico's arms. Is this it?" Connie said, "Is this all that's left?" The people remaining watched at Megatron landed on the ground in his bipedal mode before throwing Berthold on the ground. "At least it's not a waste," Jean remarked. Eren looked in shock as Berthold was crawling away from Megatron. This flying Titan managed to capture Berthold. Megatron grabbed his hilt and transformed it into a full-length sword. He raised it in the air as Berthold covered his eyes in fear. He was going to die without returning home. Berthold jolted as he heard a loud clang. He opened up his eyes and looked up to see the edge of the sword mere inches away from him. He looked in shock as he realized that Optimus forced Megatron's lower arm back to prevent the Titan from killing him. "What is he doing?" Jean demanded. "This is the perfect opportunity to kill Berthold. Prime's too merciful." "That's the fucking problem," Levi groaned before looking over at Erwin, not realizing that he was losing consciousness. "Erwin, what do we do? We still need him." Erwin collapsed on the ground as a couple of soldiers ran to his aid. Megatron looked down at the terrified mutant before looking back at Optimus. "I was assuming that you wanted this creature dead. The rest of the humans seem to see him as a plague to their race." "Then I should say the same about you," Optimus shot back. "Touché," Megatron chuckled, "but still, are you letting him live because you wish to give him a second chance?" "No," Optimus answered, causing Megatron to look in surprise. Eren looked in surprise as he listened to the conversation. This wasn't anything like Optimus. How did Optimus just change so much after a day? "Killing him will not end the Titan's reign," Optimus explained. "There is a village made up of humans who possess similar abilities to him. We need him to tell us the location. I will let the humans decide what to do with him once he is no longer useful to them." "This is certainly surprising," Megatron admitted. "You consider the humans your allies, yet you would let them turn on each other." "Like I should consider you an ally after everything that you have done," Optimus growled. I do not know who to trust anymore, so if you wish to prove to me that you are an ally, then drop your sword now." Megatron gave Optimus an unreadable expression before letting the sword slip out of his grasp and fall to the ground. Berthold gasped in fear. He felt someone pin him to the ground from behind. He grunted as he looked up to see Levi glaring at him as the captain wrapped his arms with a cloth. "Prime, Erwin seems to also want him alive," Levi informed. "Then take him to a location where the boy cannot transform," Optimus instructed without breaking eye contact with Megatron. Levi simply nodded his head before noticing Berthold's burnt hand. "Prime never shot him. Where the hell did he get that?" Gene ended up cutting the nape of Aaron's neck and pulling him out of his Titan form before bringing him up to the wall. Aaron wiped his eyes of the steam as he looked down at the two warriors. They may have succeeded in a victory today, but something told him that this situation was far from over. Chapter 14, Purpose Ova. Megatron sat on top of an abandoned building that was a safe distance from the well of the Allspark and the Autobots there. He then saw Optimus fly into the air before turning back around and flying into the well. He knew exactly what Optimus did in order to seal Unicron away and save the Allspark and the future of their race. But in order to do that, he had to give himself up. Megatron looked in slight awe at the millions of sparks that poured out of the well, traveling to the four corners of Cybertron, but stopped himself as he realized what had happened. Optimus is dead, or reborn once again. The Autobots seemed too distracted by the sparks pouring out from the wells that they didn't feel grief yet. He would still be in awe at the sight if it weren't for the fact that Optimus is dead. He shook his head and stood up. He needed to go. Megatron transformed and flew over Cybertron with no destination ahead. He saw the ruin, the remains of destruction, and it was all because of him. Before he realized it, he landed on the ground and found himself in Kaon, Megatron mumbled to himself as he walked into the area. Megatron felt something crack under his pedace and looked down to see pieces of his statue that once stood at the top of the entrance. He looked at the top of the entrance to see nothing more than the small pieces of the pedace. The ex-tyrant chuckled to himself. "Oh, how the mighty have fallen." Megatron stepped over the pieces of what remained of the statue and found himself in the middle of the arena. He closed his optics and remembered his time in the arena while the crowd still chanted his name. He could hear it. The time when the revolution was young, the time when there was hope for a future in Cybertron. He opened his optics to see the same, empty area he was in now. That time has passed, Megatron told himself. He wanted to destroy something. Out of anger? Pain? He wasn't sure. He then tried to summon his dark energon weapons, but nothing happened. Megatron sighed. Typical. Of course Unicron wouldn't leave his own vessel with the power to defend himself. Megatron walked over to one of the gate to the arena and placed his helm against it. Just because Cybertron's been dormant for thousands of years didn't mean that life still wasn't on the planet somewhere. Scraplets were definitely a high chance. When Megatron concluded that nothing was inside, he placed his servo between the bars and broke the gate. He then carefully walked through the place he used to call home. He was either forced to sleep in a dump, or travel from planet to planet during the war in search of a new place to call home. The arena was the closest thing to stability that he ever had. Megatron continued walking down the halls with care before finding a closed door with an automatic button. Megatron pressed it and was a bit grateful to see that the door was still working, but raised a metal eyebrow in surprise as he saw the room filled with old weapons. He assumed most of it was taken during the war. Guess he was wrong. Megatron touched something with his PD and looked down to see the hilt of a sword. He kneeled down and picked it up and examined it. He saw a switch and flicked it, causing the hilt to transform into a full-length sword. Megatron simply clipped the sword to his side, deciding to keep it. He transformed it back to a hilt before standing up and looking around for a weapon of defense. Megatron looked at the wall and slightly widened his optics to see his old shield sitting there. He knelt down and touched the writing that he carved into the edge. "We have value," Megatron quietly read. The ex-tyrant picked up the shield and was about to place it on his back, but stopped as he saw his reflection. Megatron didn't get a chance to see exactly what Unicron did to his form, but he didn't even look like himself anymore. He looked too much like the god of chaos. He looked more menacing, more powerful. He hated it. Megatron grimaced and he placed the shield on his back and walked back the way he came. Luckily, the weapons both had magnets on them, so he didn't need to carry anything extra. But something was just nagging at him. What was he supposed to do now? He gave up on the cause. Optimus is dead, and he knew that the Autobots and the other living beings on this planet wouldn't let him live. He wasn't wanted here, and he believed that he shouldn't be here. Megatron covered his optics with his servo as he stepped into the sunlight. He adjusted to the sun rising and sighed with content. Cybertron got to live again, and he was okay with not being around for its future. It would be better off without him. There was just one more thing he had to do. Megatron transformed and landed at the edge of the well of the Allspark. The well was glowing that familiar blue it used to before the war began. The former warlord smiled to himself. He began to think that he would be the one to die and go to the well, but Optimus was the one that went first. Megatron sighed to himself, I know that we weren't able to say goodbye, but I'm not here for some heartfelt talk. All I'm here to do is say goodbye, since this is the last time I'll be here. When he earned no response from the wells, he simply continued, rest in peace Orion Pax, and goodbye. Megatron walked away before transforming and flying towards the unknown parts of space. This was it, he was leaving Cybertron. Bumblebee sat on the ledge of a building that was not under construction while looking over data when something purple caught his optic. Bumblebee looked up in surprise to see Megatron's new alt mode flying away from the planet. Guess he really did give up, a voice remarked. Bumblebee turned to see Arky leaning against the door and looking up at the sky. I can't really believe Megatron actually abandoned the Decepticon cause, Bumblebee admitted. I'm not sure, Arky said, this is Megatron we're talking about. It's a bit strange for him to just drop everything and leave. So then, what if Megatron decides to come back with an army? Bumblebee asked. We do what Optimus would want us to do, we keep fighting, Arky answered. Bumblebee looked back at the sky to see Megatron disappear into the unknown. Come on B, Arky beckoned, we have an entire planet to rebuild. Yeah, Bumblebee mumbled as he followed Arky inside. Megatron transformed and landed on Luna 1. He couldn't stay here because it was only a matter of time before other Cybertronians would return to the planet and land here. He wasn't going to stay here, but there was something he had to do. Megatron scanned the area as he walked on the moon. He heard a loud screech followed by the sounds of metal being ripped apart. He followed the noise before taking small steps and hiding behind a small formation. He looked over and grimaced at the sight. 2 Insecticons were tearing into a third one. The third seemed to be infected with the concoction that Knockout and Starscream created because he noticed it had a purple viper tongue. It kept on screaming Energon as it was being torn limb from limb. Megatron could see the Energon was darker than its natural blue color. Megatron looked in further disgust as he saw the piles of Insection limbs with Arachnid sitting on a formation near them. Arachnid was someone who would not be put down so easily. She uses her head, but she's a lot more agile and stealthy than he is, and she can control the Insections, and right now he had to. Megatron widened his optics and he heard a low growl and looked behind him to see a 4th Insecticon. Scrap, Megatron cursed. The Insecticon howled as it tried to attack him, but Megatron pulled out his sword and stabbed it in the neck. The Insecticon cried out in pain as he grabbed it and threw the corpse at the other 2 Insecticons. One of them managed to dodge, but the other was not so fortunate as the corpse slammed into it. Arachnid gasped as she jumped into the air, dodging the impact of the 2 bodies. She landed on the ground and looked in front of her to see Megatron walking towards her with his Energon-stained sword. Arachnid smirked. I didn't expect you to be here. I must say though, you look so much more menacing. Soundwave told me that he transported you here after you were set free, Megatron remarked. Did he now? Arachnid scowled before sighing, what a shame, I thought that he would be here with you so that I could kill him personally. I am alone, Megatron declared, the Decepticons are no more and the Autobots have won the war. Arachnid looked in disbelief before laughing. That's a really cute story. Call it whatever you want, but it is true, Megatron stated without any hesitation. He noticed Arachnid's twisted smile disappear into one of hatred. So what? You think that just because you gave up on the Decepticons cause that the rest of us will? Arachnid demanded. I never said that, Megatron retorted, and I am aware that many will not agree with the decision that I have made. There was a reason I joined your cause, Arachnid stated, now I realized I shouldn't have. Megatron narrowed his optics, knowing what was about to happen. Kill him, Arachnid ordered. The Insecticon screeched as it transformed and charged at him while Arachnid began to fire. Megatron simply blocked it with his shield before running towards the charging Insecticon and stabbing it in the neck. Megatron grunted as he threw the Insecticon at Arachnid. The Insecticon crashed onto the dune she was on, causing smoke to rise up. Megatron walked slowly to the damage that he caused. When the smoke cleared, he noticed that Arachnid was nowhere to be found. He waited and listened for any unusual signs of movement. Before Megatron could react, he grunted as he felt something bite his neck. He growled as he grabbed the spider and threw her off of his back. The X-Con placed a clawed servo on the wound as Arachnid began to cough and spit out the energon she tried to drink. You're infected with the virus, Megatron realized. And you have dark energon in your systems, Arachnid growled before changing into her spider form and charging. Megatron blocked her attacks with his sword before cutting off 3 of her legs. Arachnid screamed in pain as she collapsed on the ground and transformed back into her bipedal mode. She choked in pain as Megatron grabbed her by the throat and hoisted her into the air. Arachnid tried to shoot her webs, but Megatron grabbed both of her servos and crushed them without a second thought. She screamed as Megatron let her arms fall to her side. She then growled as she lost her composure and started slamming her leaking arms onto the large one that was holding her. It's all about you, isn't it? Arachnid yelled, you suddenly decide to become good and give up on the cause that you started without caring about where the rest of your army ends up. That's rich, coming from you, Megatron remarked. You and Starscream both wanted my position so badly and were willing to assassinate me to do so. Don't you dare dash. And look at where it got you. Stranded out on the moon of our former dead planet, where we no longer have a place in. Arachnid growled as she used one of her remaining claws to try and stab him. Burn in the pits. Arachnid screamed before gasping as she felt something go straight through her spark. Megatron watched as Arachnid's arms went limp as he pulled out his sword from her spark chamber. Fortunately for the future of Cybertron, you will go first, Megatron declared. Arachnid's optics stopped glowing as she offlined before Megatron dropped the corpse on the barren metal. Cybertron would be safe from at the very least one little problem. He looked back at Cybertron before placing his sword back on his side and transforming and flying off. Megatron carved another tally on the back of his shield before laying back down on the ground and looking up at the stars. It's been about 11 days since he's last seen Cybertron. He's been flying around in space for about 2 days before he found this dwarf planet full of energon. He used to be surrounded by blaster fire, explosions, and practical idiots. Now there was silence, and the ex-tyrant was okay with that. Unfortunately, it was only a matter of time before another Cybertronian would come across this place. He knew he would have to leave soon, but for now he should just get some rest. Megatron slowly closed his optics and let sleep consume him. Megatron yelled in pain as he was being electrocuted by a dark matter. He collapsed on his knees before groaning in pain. Megatron tried to find out where he was, but he couldn't see anything in this void. Megatron gasped as he felt the dark energon in his chest spread throughout his body and made his systems overheat. He grunted in pain as he clutched his chest. He had to get out. He had to get out. He had to get out. Do you really think you will ever be free from me? A voice boomed. Megatron's optics snapped open as he saw Unicron appear before him. He growled as he tried to stand up, but a force sent him hurtling across the void. Megatron grunted as he ended up skidding across his back to a stop before feeling his chest being ripped apart. Megatron yelled as he managed to hear Unicron talking over him. You will never be free from me. Unicron declared, I am everything that you will ever be. You will never have your own spark again. It's only a matter of time before I reclaim your body. Megatron's optics snapped open as he quickly sat up. He grabbed the shield at his side and looked at his reflection to see that his optics were still red and not purple. Megatron gave a small sigh of relief before grimacing and putting a clawed servo over his optics. Unicron has been plaguing his thoughts to the point where he couldn't even think straight. He barely slept, he couldn't take it. The former vessel touched his chest where his spark would be. The dark energon may be keeping him alive, but he will be forever haunted by Unicron. He chuckled to himself. Guess that's part of the punishment he deserves for starting a war. The war, Megatron thought. Now that he looked back on it, could the war have been prevented? Was the war really necessary? No, he muttered to himself. The war could not have been prevented. At the end of the day it was inevitable. The system didn't work. Too many of the lower caste system were dying. Not just in the pits, but in the mines and other places with horrible conditions. They were all frustrated with how they were living, and if he didn't start it, then someone else would have. Megatron grabbed his sword and shield before standing up. He should continue moving, he stayed here for too long. Megatron continued wandering the cosmos. He saw both Autobots and Decepticons pass by, but simply chose to ignore them and leave the area they were in. He didn't want to make contact with anyone else, and he intended to keep it that way. He saw so many stars, planets, galaxies. He didn't know where he was or how far he's traveled, but he didn't care. It was pretty peaceful. Megatron found another barren dwarf planet before flying over there and landing on the ground. So far as he could see, there were no signs of life. Megatron caught something out of the corner of his optic before walking towards it. He placed his servo on his hips as he found an abandoned Cybertronian ship. Well, it is a large universe, so I was bound to find something related to Cybertron. Megatron thought. Megatron walked over to the side of the ship and kicked the door open. He jumped inside the ship before walking down the halls. He had to be cautious. The ship could still have traps or possibly be infested with something else. Megatron found an open door and walked inside to see a medical bay with some supplies and a still intact berth. It's a start, Megatron thought as he walked over to the berth and laid down on it. He needed to rest, at least until the nightmares woke him up. Megatron grunted as the pain in his chest came, but he didn't care about that. He covered his audio receptors, trying to block out the voice of the chaos. You may try to shut me out, he managed to hear Unicron say, but you cannot shut them out. Megatron noticed purple flames below and widened his optics to see millions of ghosts screaming at him, reaching out to him and trying to grab and pull him down with them. Megatron tried to see an end to this horrific sight, but there wasn't. Murderer! 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 They all screamed. Megatron could only shut his optics and try to block out the noise. This isn't real. It's not. Megatron gagged as Unicron grabbed him by the throat and pulled him towards his face. What's wrong, Megatron? Unicron taunted, you would delight in this. All the Cybertronians that you've killed, and for what? For glory? For peace? Megatron was forced to look down at the screaming ghosts. You relished in the chaos that you caused. You enjoyed it before you even infused your spark with my life force. Get out. Megatron forced out. It's too late for that, Unicron declared. Megatron threw a punch at Unicron, causing the god to crumble into pieces. The ex-warlord took the opportunity and bolted as far away as he could. Away from the voices, away from Unicron. He didn't know where, he just had to run. Megatron almost tripped and fell as he felt a servo grab his leg. He looked down to see a soul latching onto his leg as more began to pull him under. Get off of me! Megatron yelled as he tried to kick them off. He struggled as he felt himself being pulled down even further into the sea of fire. Megatron yelled as he tried to get out, but he noticed someone in the distance. Was that Orion? But before he could call out to him, he was pulled under. Megatron jumped up from the berth and grabbed the hilt and transformed it into its proper weapon. He scanned the room, trying to find any threats to him, but nothing appeared. Megatron growled before throwing his sword, piercing the wall. He couldn't take it. It's too unbearable. The ex-con touched the side of his neck where Arachnid bit him. She said that he had dark energon in his system. He knew that because of what he did to himself. You cannot join the Allspark because my lifeblood flows through your veins. He remembered Unicron saying when he revived him. Even after he was free from Unicron's control, the dark energon in his spark was not removed. Then that also meant that he was doomed. He couldn't join the Allspark. His soul couldn't go to the wells or the pits. He couldn't be reincarnated. He was doomed to forever roam the universe with this constant torment in his mind before he would rust away into nothingness. Would his spark disappear from existence? Would he be taken over by Unicron again? Megatron looked down at his servos before he began chuckling to himself. Then before he knew it, he began laughing. Oh, how twisted fate was. He started off alone, and he was going to die alone. He would disappear. He wouldn't see Optimus again. Megatron stopped laughing before touching his chest, feeling a slight pain in his spark. Optimus was gone now. Before the war, he was there as Orion, and during the war when he despised the Prime most, he was still there. But now he's gone, and he didn't get the chance to say a simple goodbye and apologize for the destruction that he caused. He didn't get the chance to say goodbye. Megatron covered his face plates with his servos and gritted his dentures in pain. What a desperate and foolish mech he is. Megatron growled in anger as he crushed parts of the berth with his servos. He kicked the table that was next to him, sending some of the tools that were still there flying across the room. He began to just destroy everything in the medbay, the cables, computers, whatever was in his range. Megatron huffed as he looked at the destruction he caused. He looked down at his servos before letting them fall at his side. It didn't matter. No matter what he did, it wouldn't bring Optimus back. The ex-tyrant hung his helm, unaware that a tear fell from his face. Megatron sat on the floor with one arm resting on his knee while the other was on the floor. The former warlord stared off into space with solemn optics. He felt empty. He felt hollow. He didn't have a purpose anymore. Should he really continue to move forward if he had lost everything? This wasn't like the mines or the arena or the war where he knew what he was fighting to live for. He ended up destroying the lives of many others, the Autobots, his own comrades, everything. Everything that he ever did was never for the better of Cybertron. It was for himself. Everything was his fault. How could he let himself stoop so low? Megatron looked at the blade embedded in the wall before shaking his head. He wouldn't end it like that. Suicide was the coward's way out. He wouldn't take that path. Unless he wanted to be under Unicron's control again. The only choice he had was to move forward. No matter how miserable he may be. He had to move forward with whatever punishment the universe threw at him. He stood up and grabbed his shield before walking to the door and pulling his sword out from the wall. He just had to keep moving. It's been a month. Megatron counted the tallies on his shield, and it's been a month since he's been away from Cybertron. He thought about going back, but he knew he didn't deserve it. And even if he did return, he'd be put on trial. At the end of the day he wouldn't be accepted back. Either way, he lost track of where he was. Megatron found another ship on the moon of a planet and flew towards it. He transformed and landed on the ground with a thud before walking over to the ship. The ship looked like it came here recently since it had a newer finish and model. Megatron climbed up to the top before finding and opening the hatch. Megatron jumped inside and landed on the floor before walking cautiously down the hall with his servo touching the hilt. The ex-warlord opened a door and ended up finding a console that seemed to be operational. He pressed one of the keys and looked in surprise to see a functional space bridge. Before Megatron could check what else the ship had, he heard a loud clang. He quickly turned around and pulled out his sword while scanning the area with a quick optic and trying to deduce what the noise was. It wasn't a scraplet, he knew that. If it was, then they all would have come out in swarms and tried to eat him alive. A trap? Maybe, but it depends on what else is still working on the ship. Unless someone was already on board. Megatron looked up to the ceiling to see a gun come down through a small hatch. As it began to charge up, Megatron grabbed his shield and raised it in the air. The gun fired and hit Megatron's shield, forcing him back. Megatron grunted as someone tackled him from behind. He growled and put his sword at his side before he used his shield to hit the attacker before grabbing and throwing him across the room. Before Megatron could attack the figure, someone else caught him off guard and tackled him into the console. Megatron grabbed the other by the throat and pinned him to the console. Before the X-Con could kill the Cybertronian, he pressed one of the buttons on the keyboard. Megatron looked at the computer screen to see it calculating random coordinates to different parts of the universe. Megatron then covered his optics as the space bridge opened. He stood his ground as he felt the portal begin to pull him in. The space bridge is unstable. Megatron yelled at the Cybertronian, who was now rubbing his neck. That's the point, the Cybertronian smirked as he pressed another button. Megatron tried to keep his balance as the pull from the space bridge grew stronger. He grabbed his sword and stabbed it in the ground to keep him in place. Burn in the pits, you crazed warlord! The Cybertronian yelled. Megatron kept his balance as he looked at the screen where the coordinates were. He widened his optics as the diagram of the planet looked like Earth, but with different coordinates. But before he could react, the Cybertronian kicked him in the face. Megatron tried to counterattack, but he lost his balance and pulled his sword out of the floor by mistake, causing him to go through the space bridge. The space bridge opened to a grassy field as Megatron practically flew out of it. His body tumbled through the fields before he ended up rolling to a stop. Megatron sat up and rubbed his helm while grumbling to himself. How the frag did he let himself get distracted so easily? He then remembered the coordinates that were punched in. The planet looked like Earth from what he saw in the diagram, but the coordinates looked like the planet was in another galaxy. Was this a different version of Earth? Megatron sighed. Well, it's not like he has anything better to do. He placed his sword at his side and his shield on his back before walking off. It's been 3 days since he's been on this rock, one of which he hasn't slept at all. The good news about this backwards planet is that there were enough energon pockets here and there, so at times he didn't have to travel far. The weird thing about this world, however, were the giant humanoids aimlessly walking around without the things the humans called clothing. He noticed one walking around while he was trying to sleep during the day due to his all-nighter, but took no mind to it as he tried to go back to sleep. But then he noticed more of these dull creatures walking around. He didn't speak to it, not that he needed to, but he noticed that these creatures weren't even bothering to communicate with one another. So humans evolved into giant creatures but lose whatever little intelligence they had in the first place. Megatron thought, pitiful. These titans even seemed to be more mindless when some would bump into trees or even fall from high ground, yet be completely unharmed by the impact. He even kicked one of them off of a cliff and it turned out fine while having that stupid smiling face before walking off. This planet is backwards, Megatron thought. They didn't even seem to eat anything. How have these things survived? It was only on the 3rd day when he noticed a pattern with these titans. They were heading north. It was odd for a species that was less intelligent than humans to actually be drawn to something. It was probably simply instinct like the scraplets that chewed through anything metal, but, let's see where they're going. Megatron jumped into the air before transforming and flying north. It was now nighttime, and Megatron's been flying north for about an hour or so. He was a bit exhausted and was going to rest for the night, but stopped when he saw something below him. Megatron dived down and noticed that the object was a wall. Megatron transformed and landed on the ground with a thud. He looked up to see a 50-meter wall with an oval-shaped hole. There used to be a gate here, Megatron assumed as he walked inside. The ex-warlord was a little uncertain to make of the situation as he saw the area was abandoned with broken buildings and some skeletons on the floor. A massacre happened here, Megatron concluded as he walked down the road. He made an assumption that this was a town attacked by these creatures. Megatron looked straight ahead to see another breach within this wall. And it seemed it got past the town as well. But something didn't make sense. Were humans still around along with these creatures? Were there a certain group of humans that did not evolve? And why was there a giant wall? Megatron put 2 and 2 together and realized that the wall was meant to keep the Titans out and keep the remaining humans safe. So then that would mean these creatures' food supply would be humans, Megatron mumbled to himself. Then how the frag are these creatures still alive? Who knows how long these humans kept themselves isolated? Megatron then walked over to the second hole and where he assumed the second gate was and examined it. He then looked ahead to see footprints skid to a stop. So this was an attack caused by these things. Megatron thought, guess some evolved with their minds still intact. As he looked back at the first hole in the wall, Megatron felt like something wasn't adding up. From what he saw, the Titans looked like they could survive without the need to eat humans. So then why did they eat them if they didn't need them? Megatron shook his head. Seems the lack of sleep he's had was catching up to him. As much as he didn't enjoy it, he had to at least try before he's plagued with nightmares again. Megatron sat down on the ground and leaned against the wall before going back to his nightmarish sleep. Megatron jolted awake before sighing and rubbing his optics in irritation. Can't he just get some fragging sleep? He's already severed from the Allspark. What more does he need? Megatron sat up and looked up at the stars. It was still night time. The ex-con groaned before deciding to walk around and investigate more. So he came to the same conclusion: more Titans, more abandoned homes, and that humans were these Titans' food source. Megatron looked behind him to see that the sun was already rising and he's gotten no rest. Megatron continued grumbling to himself before looking up in confusion to see another 50-meter-tall wall with a hole that was sealed. Megatron raised a metal eyebrow before growled. What the slag was going on here? Megatron's audio receptors then picked up something that was walking towards him, but didn't bother to look back. He only began to grow more cautious when he realized that the footsteps were intentionally lighter. Megatron calmly waited for his attacker to get closer before grabbing his sword and spinning to his left. He widened his optics in surprise as his blade stopped at the neck of an animal-like Titan with a fist raised into the air ready to strike. Megatron growled while the sword transformed back into its hilt. Not even a week on this backwards planet and something is trying to kill. He kept on grumbling to himself, completely ignoring the Titan that was in front of him. Planet? The Titan asked. Megatron looked in surprise before smirking. Well, looks like some of you humans evolve with your minds still intact. What are you? The Titan demanded. Were you created by the humans? Megatron looked bewildered by the beast before he began laughing. Humans creating me? Megatron cackled. The species could barely get a message across their own planet. What makes you so sure that they could create an autonomous being? Megatron slightly chuckled as he looked back at the wall with the plugged-up hole. This backwards planet was starting to amuse him. Then the Metal Titan lied. The beast seemed to mumble to himself, but not quite low enough for Megatron to miss. Metal Titan? Megatron questioned as he noticed the beast growing uneasy. Out of curiosity, what did this Titan look like? Megatron knew that none of the Autobots or Decepticons ever found this planet. So there shouldn't be a Cybertronian here unless it was a neutral or rogue. Megatron chuckled as the Titan didn't let its guard down. I'm not going to kill you. I have no reason to. I'm just curious. If you want, I can find methods to persuade you. That seemed to make the beast more cooperative. He was red and blue and was equipped with swords and guns. Megatron raised an eyebrow as he turned to the beast to look at him. Was there anything else? Something distinctive? The beast Titan seemed to back away while cautiously eyeing him. There were two symbols on his arm. One of them was wings, while the other was a face. Before Megatron could ask another question, two lightning strikes came down not too far from their location. Megatron looked in surprise before quickly grabbing his sword and placing it at the creature's neck. Let's not get too carried away, Megatron advised. Before I make up my mind to investigate whatever that is, did you catch the Titan's name? No, the beast hissed as a third lightning strike came down. Megatron narrowed his optics before lowering his sword. The next time we meet and you attack me like you did, I will not be so merciful. Megatron transformed and flew off towards the source. He would have investigated the strikes with or without the beast he saw, but the description he gave sounded way too familiar. The source of the smoke came into view, a large muscular Titan against a set of humans on top of the wall. He glanced down to see an armored Titan walking towards two other Titans that he couldn't make out. His instincts practically kicked in as Megatron fired his bullets at the armored one before firing at the colossal Titan's hand. He then flew into the air, noticed the armored one managed to dodge his attacks. Megatron looped back around before flying straight towards it. He transformed and let out a battle cry and punched the armored one in the face, sending him flying and slamming into the wall. Megatron stood up fully as he stretched his claw and looked at the struggling armored one. This world was getting stranger by the minute. Eren, stay behind me. A familiar voice ordered. Megatron's spark stopped. He did not just hear that. He did not just hear that voice. Megatron turned his helm to see two titans near him. One was a muscular titan with no lips, the other one was Optimus Prime. Megatron couldn't speak. His helm was spinning and he couldn't move. He thought his optics were deceiving him until Optimus pointed a gun at him. Optimus was alive? How? Why? What happened to his newer form? Why was he in his old form? So many thoughts were running through his head. He wanted to run to Optimus, shake him by the shoulders, and demand what happened to him after the core. Was Optimus alive this entire time? Impossible, Megatron finally managed to force out, You're alive. The three of them heard a crumbling noise and turned to see the armored one stand up and let out a deafening roar. Megatron grimaced before looking up to see the muscular titan ripping off the hand he shot at and threw it over the other side of the wall. He didn't know what the frag was going on, but he took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He knew he was making the right decision. Chapter 15, Truths. Eren looked in surprise at the small house before he, Mikasa, Connie, and Sasha walked inside. I can't believe we have to clean this place, Connie grumbled, fucking Captain Levi with his straight face saying, this place better be fucking spotless you brats. After everything that's happened, I'm glad that we just have to clean some dusty old house, Sasha admitted. I'll go chop some wood, Mikasa informed. Wait, Eren began, we should probably clean the inside of the house. Levi wants to make sure that every corner of the house is clean, so we might as well get the inside out of the way. Well, we will need fire for dinner tonight, and I'm the only one with the strength to cut the wood, Mikasa retorted. Sasha, quick question, Connie began before pointing to the bow and arrows placed on her back, why the hell do you have those in the house? What kinda stupid question is that? Sasha yelled, so I have some form of defense against that fucking flying titan. I will shoot that monster in its eyes if it comes near me. Sasha, why do you react strangely around him? Mikasa asked with curiosity, you seemed to react like that when you came near Optimus as well. You could sense Optimus. Eren asked in surprise. Sasha scanned the area around them before running to the door and checking if anyone was outside. I don't know why I can sense them, Sasha admitted, but I just can. Whenever I would sense Optimus, I would only sense pure energy. I could tell it was him even in those weird forms he has. Pure energy? Eren questioned. Yeah, Sasha said, there's this pure energy in his chest that, I don't even know what it is. It's just pure and untainted. That flying titan, he a completely different story. Whoa, hey Sasha, Connie said as he saw Sasha shivering with fear. That titan, it's just chaos, Sasha proclaimed, pure chaos. I could sense some dark energy in his chest from a mile away. That energy, it's 10 times worse than Optimus. Connie slightly gulped before looking at Eren and Mikasa for a solution to Sasha's breakdown. We should probably start cleaning. It'll probably get your mind off of it, Mikasa declared before grabbing the axe next to the door and walking out. Kmin, Connie said as he helped Sasha regain her footing. Eren remained quiet as he walked down the hallway to find some cleaning equipment. It didn't make sense. Optimus was acting stranger than ever, a lot more hostile at that. And from what's been going on, Megatron is considered bad news for everyone. It didn't make any sense. Eren stopped as he looked down at the hatch that led to an underground bunker in the house. He grimaced before looking away. He didn't like the fact that the colossal titan was right under their noses as a prisoner. Eren opened the closet and grabbed the broom inside. All this time he was sleeping next to the person who was responsible for his mom, and he could have ended it back then. Back then, Eren trailed off as he thought of the battle and Megatron's appearance. Who is he? So your assistant managed to draw what this new titan looked like, Pixis remarked to Hanji as he sat in his chair looking at the drawn picture. I must say, he looks rather menacing than I thought he would be, especially compared to Optimus. You should have seen him when he fought, Hanji said, it was brutal and awesome. Oi, shit glasses, Levi began, stop fantasizing over that titan and actually try to figure out how he knows Prime. Well, we're not exactly getting much about him, Hanji stated, Optimus is practically keeping everyone away from him. Did you manage to catch his name, by the way? Optimus called him Megatron, Erwin answered as he struggled to sit up in his bed. Erwin, you need to rest, Levi stated. I'm fine, Erwin insisted, what matters is figuring out if that Titan is a threat to humanity because Optimus clearly sees him as such. Well, he did just capture the colossal Titan, Hanji retorted, you think he might have just let the kid go if he wanted to? The guy did decapitate him. Optimus held the Titan at gunpoint while you were knocked out, Levi countered. You two bickering is not going to help the situation, Erwin declared. The only two who know of the Titan is Armin Arlert and Jean Kirstein, but they're still worked up about the situation. So we let them calm down until they're ready to tell us about this Megatron character, Levi assumed, but we know that this Titan is possibly stronger than Optimus and that they've clearly met before. Speaking of Megatron, is he with Optimus? Pixis asked. Yeah, Hanji answered, Optimus has to go refuel, and now that there's another Titan, more energon needs to be consumed. Wonder how that's turning out, Levi remarked. Optimus and Megatron arrived at one of the caves in the wall and found it filled with energon. Optimus transformed into his alt mode as he pulled his crate while Megatron followed behind. It's strange how this world has energon, Megatron admitted, it took me a month to find this place by accident, but it is rather far from Cybertron. Optimus didn't say anything as he set the crate down and plucked out energon from the wall. Megatron had an unreadable expression before he sat down on the hard ground. He didn't slagging understand. He's gotten no information from Optimus about what was going on. All he knew was that humans were trying to kill all the Titans or something, and he can't ask any of the other humans because Optimus won't let him even reach them with a 10-foot cannon. He could just leave, but... Stop glaring at me, Optimus spoke as he dropped the energon in the crate. If you are going to keep looking at me like that, then speak up. Megatron sighed as he leaned his helm against the wall. How long have you been here? A month, Optimus answered. Exactly the amount of time I went into self-exile, Megatron thought before speaking up, and you've been helping the humans since that time. Yes, Optimus answered. Megatron was going to ask why Optimus never tried to make contact with Cybertron, but stopped himself as he realized why. Optimus didn't have those kinds of tools here, and even he didn't know how far he was from Cybertron. But he had to ask the question that's been bugging him the moment he got here. Why did you try to kill me? Megatron spoke. He noticed the Prime slightly stiffen in response before resuming his task, causing him the scowl and irritation. So you say to ask questions, but now you want to remain silent when I do. Megatron scowled, you saw me forfeit the cause. And immediately afterwards I had to give up my own spark to ensure our planet could survive, Optimus countered. Do you really expect me to trust you when I do not even know what you've been doing for the past month? I told you I left Cybertron after you sacrificed yourself, Megatron reminded. And you expect me to believe that, Optimus stated. I never said I did, Megatron declared. I expected at the very least a negotiation, or some form of agreement between us. That is rich coming from you, Optimus spat out. Okay, Megatron was not expecting that. He had to push down his murderous thoughts as he stood up. I come before you, trying to fix this relationship that was destroyed by the war, but you keep on glaring at me and trying to kill me, Megatron said. Optimus dropped the last piece of energon into the crate before glaring at him. It's amusing, because I tried the same thing with you, but you were too stubborn and arrogant to listen. Megatron didn't say anything as Optimus grabbed the crate and walked past him. The ex-tyrant chuckled, causing the Prime to stop in his tracks. Has our relationship gone so far to the point where we cannot fix it? Megatron asked. Optimus didn't answer his question. We must head back. Aaron wiped the window inside the house when he heard a familiar engine noise. He smiled as he saw Optimus drive in before transforming into his bipedal mode. Aaron ran towards the door and opened it, but stopped himself from stepping outside as he saw Megatron transform and land on the ground. Aaron took a small step back. He still didn't know anything about this Titan. Why did Optimus think that he was a threat? Mikasa chopped a log of wood in half before looking up to the two Titans. Welcome back, Optimus. I see you are settled, Optimus observed. Mikasa simply nodded her head. Captain Levi and squad leader Hanji are still with the commander. They should be here in a day or so. Thank you, Optimus said. Mikasa turned her gaze towards the ex-con. Hello. Megatron didn't greet her back as she resumed her chores. He turned to the Prime who was glaring at him and sighed. I'll move, Megatron said as he walked away from the cabin, grumbling about not having his weapons. Optimus, Eren called out as he took the courage to run out the cabin. Optimus looked down at Eren, his expression softened. Are you feeling well? I'm fine, Eren answered, everything's been pretty hectic, but I'm managing. Megatron had his back turned towards the cabin, but he glanced back and noticed Optimus interacting with the Titan shifter. Optimus simply nodded his head to Eren as he was about to walk towards his former foe. Optimus, wait, Eren called out, causing the Prime to stop and look back at him. I was hoping that we could continue training. Eren hesitantly asked. Optimus sighed. I apologize, but I cannot. But it's been a week and dash. Eren, things are still complicated, and I need you to stay away, Optimus instructed. But dash. Please, Optimus slightly implored, it is for your safety. Eren tried to protest a little more, but Optimus already walked away from him, ordering Megatron to move forward. Mikasa looked at Eren in sadness before catching something out of the corner of her eye. She turned to see a bow and arrow being pulled away from the window. Jean tapped his fingers on the table with his other hand in his hair. Armin sat across from him, trying his best to stop shaking. What are we going to do? Jean asked. I don't know, Armin answered. Jean laughed nervously. Come on Armin. You're the one that always has a plan. I don't have one, Armin stated, we can't take Megatron on. Humanity will lose. You saw what he did. He captured Berthold with only a blade and crushed Emir's face with a hand. I don't get it, Jean admitted, why the hell would Prime let someone that dangerous live? It can't be out of mercy, can it? Optimus looked at Megatron with so much malice. It couldn't be out of mercy, Armin reasoned, maybe Optimus doesn't have the power to. Why you can't be serious, right? Jean stuttered, those two have battled it out for a long time, but there has to be some weakness that Optimus knows about, right? Armin sighed. I don't know. The only thing they can do is leave it in Optimus' hands. But what if Optimus doesn't or can't do it? Jean demanded while slamming his hands on the table, what then? Then humanity perishes, Armin declared. Jean looked at Armin with dread and slumped back down in his seat. So the progress that we've made means nothing. Mikasa brought some firewood inside and placed it in the kitchen. The cadet heard footsteps from upstairs and saw Sasha walking downstairs with her bow and arrows. Sasha, Megatron is not here, Mikasa informed, you can put that away. Hell no. Sasha exclaimed, I'm not letting my guard down around that Titan. He made humanity's greatest threat cower in fear, and the dark energy in his chest is not helping. We don't even know if he's a threat to us, Mikasa reasoned. If Prime is willing to kill him, he's definitely a threat, Sasha countered. Do you really think a Titan that beat the Colossal Titan can be defeated with a bow and arrow? Mikasa raised an eyebrow. I can try. Sasha shouted, his eyes are a weak point. Sasha, we can't defeat them, Mikasa declared, I've tried firsthand to take down Optimus and it didn't work. I can't defeat him, the captain can't, and Eren can't. The only one who can is Optimus. We have to put our faith in him and hope that he's making the right decision. Sasha watched Mikasa walk outside with her axe before scowling. The only reason you're so calm about this is because he hasn't hurt Eren yet. Levi sighed in irritation before holding his hands together and hunching over. So Titans are humans, damn everything. Imagine what Optimus is going to say when we tell him, Pixis remarked. Think we should? Levi asked, I don't think Prime is going to like it. We have to, Pixis shrugged, besides Titans being humans may be the least of our problems. Levi looked at Erwin who was staring at the ceiling and muttering stuff under his breath. He's been at it for 20 minutes, Levi observed. Sure he's not hallucinating? Pixis asked. He keeps muttering about that flying Titan, so he might be, Levi remarked. Can I see the drawing of him? Pixis asked. Levi passed Hanji's notebook to Pixis before sitting back down. Pixis opened the book and looked back at the sketches of Megatron. He then flipped a couple of more pages back to see a figure with a question mark with some extra notes. Friend, brother, gladiator, Pixis listed before raising an eyebrow, Decepticons. Apparently, it's the group that Prime was fighting, Levi explained. Autobots against the Decepticons, Pixis mused. Decepticons, Erwin muttered, deception, because I now know the meaning of oppression and have lost the taste of. Erwin quickly turned to Pixis and clutched his head due to the abrupt movement. Erwin, what the hell? Levi demanded. I'm fine, Erwin reassured, Pixis, the notebook. Pixis gave Erwin the notebook as Erwin flipped back to Megatron's physical appearance. He held a few of the pages and compared the mystery figure and Megatron. The appearance, the calculating look Megatron has in his eyes, the way he and Optimus were interacting, the was Megatron fought. Levi noticed Erwin growing uneasy as his arm began to shake. He looked at Erwin to see him stuck in a trance. Erwin, Levi spoke, Erwin. Erwin jolted and quickly closed the book in his hand. He took deep breaths and held onto the stub of his former arm. Where's Hanji? I believe she went to grab Pastor Nick, Pixis answered. Levi, go get Armin and Jean, Erwin ordered. Levi sighed before standing up, I'm getting a nurse while I'm at it. Pixis watched as Levi walked out of the room before looking at the commander. What happened? Erwin covered his eyes with his hand instead of responding. He prayed. He prayed to whatever god was out there that he was wrong. Aaron hid behind a tree before walking as quietly as possible towards the two Titans. He could hear the two bickering as he hid behind another tree. I told you the Autobots are still on Cybertron, Megatron stated, I don't know if anyone attacked. Yet you do not have evidence to prove you claim, Optimus retorted. I left the planet after you became one with Primus. How many times do I have to explain that to you? Megatron demanded. They really do sound like they have a history, Aaron thought. They are my comrades, and what makes you so sure that I can believe what you're telling me? Optimus demanded. It's not like either of us can return to Cybertron, Megatron said, this planet could be billions of light years away and this world has less technology than Earth. It hasn't even invented electricity yet. Aaron seemed a little solemn from what both of the Titan were discussing. Optimus' one chance to return home is practically gone, but was it selfish for him to want the Prime to stay? Besides, I killed the one threat to Cybertron before I left, Megatron added, Arachnid was stranded on Luna 1. She would have planned an attack, knowing her, so I had to intervene before it was too late. How was she free from stasis? Optimus asked. Megatron sighed. It was Starscream and Knockout's foolish experiment on Solus. Aaron didn't hear anything after. There was probably an awkward tension between them. But Aaron had never heard of these names before, Starscream, Knockout, Arachnid, Solus? What was Megatron even talking about? Stop pacing, you're overthinking too many things, Megatron advised. Aaron was confused. What? Why was Optimus? Aaron peeked from behind the tree and looked in surprise. Optimus had his mask on, but he looked concerned while Megatron leaned against a tree in apathy. You've dealt with situations beyond your control, I don't understand what's so different this time, Megatron admitted, I doubt that it's because you're not leading. Humanity is in a world where Titans rule over them. I am trying to make peace, not start a civil war. Optimus proclaimed. Well then I'm going the latter, that you didn't say a word about my existence to the humans except for two, Megatron concluded. 2. Aaron thought, there are two who know who this guy is? But who would that be? Wait a minute. Armin and Jean were the ones that reacted out of fear just from hearing the guy's name. Does that mean they knew? It was not very wise to keep that from the humans if you didn't was to create more conflict, Megatron stated. Optimus didn't respond and instead crossed his arm. Telling them about you would have given them more to worry about. And not telling them about me would also make them think you are trying to gain their trust, only to betray humanity when it suited you, Megatron countered. I know you, Optimus. You kept it in the back of your processors, be it important or insignificant, that a Cybertronian would have come across this world. And you believed that we would have crossed paths again. Aaron felt conflicted. Why would Optimus keep that from them? Aaron's heart stopped beating as he made eye contact with Megatron. He hid behind the tree and clutched his chest in fear. Should he bite his hand? Should he walk away? Was the Titan going to rat him out? I'm going to rest, Megatron informed. If the prisoner breaks out, let me know. Aaron took the opportunity and bolted towards the cabin. Jean and Armin remained tense as they stood in front of an injured and bedridden Erwin with Levi and Pixis sitting beside him. Sir, why did you call us here? Armin asked. You know damn well why, Levi responded. You two are the only ones that know who the Flying Titan is, Erwin explained. Who is he? And don't give us some bullshit answer, Levi added. Armin and Jean glanced at each other before looking back at Erwin. We made a promise not to tell, Jean answered. And why the hell won't you? Levi demanded. Wait, Levi, Erwin ordered, how long have you known about this Titan? We've known for a month, Armin admitted. We promised not to tell and we didn't figure we had to because we thought he was dead. And you're still not going to tell? Erwin asked. Armin trailed off. Armin alert, Pixis spoke. I understand that you are trying to honor Optimus Prime's wishes, but you must understand that humanity is at risk. Optimus would understand that you had to tell. This Titan is here, and deep down, Optimus knew that he had to show his personal demons. Armin remained silent as he clenched his fist. Oi, brat dash. Patience, Pixis said. His name is Megatron, Armin finished. He's the, I guess, former leader of the Decepticons. Erwin tried to keep his composure while Levi and Pixis were rather bewildered. How the hell dash? Did this Megatron happen to be a former gladiator? Erwin asked. Why yes, Armin answered, but dash. You may go, Erwin instructed. Commander, how do you even know about dash? You may go, Erwin informed Jean in a more stern voice. Jean turned to Armin who simply gestured to the door. Jean opened it and the two cadets walked out of the room, allowing Erwin to take a deep breath and curse. Erwin? Pixis questioned. Not like you to curse, Levi remarked, and what the hell's a gladiator? Erwin handed Levi Hanji's notebook. A warrior who battles in an arena for sport. Megatron is the mystery figure that he told Aaron about. Mystery figure? Pixis repeated while Levi flipped through the book, the page with the question mark. So this is the same guy who killed for sport, killed a politician in public, started their war, destroyed a planet, and died and somehow came back from the grave, Levi listed, and this bastard is here on our world. Things got more interesting, Pixis smirked. Why the hell is Prime keeping this guy alive then? Levi demanded. I don't know, Erwin admitted, I hope that it is with good reason. You know this states that Prime is against humanity, Levi proclaimed. If he was, he would have left us to die multiple times before Megatron appeared, Pixis countered. Levi sighed. I'm not saying I don't trust him, but what he's doing now, doesn't that make you question his motives and ask if he's been playing humanity from the start? If Optimus thinks of Megatron as such a threat, then why doesn't he just make him leave? Pixis asked. Optimus' world may hang in the balance, and keeping him here may be the best option to protect it, Erwin guessed. So putting us at risk is his best option. Levi guessed. He's been keeping Megatron away from us, Erwin countered. We can't even ask Optimus why he's keeping Megatron alive. Rumors are starting to spread about the Flying Titan, Pixis added. Do you think it's a good idea to reveal Megatron to the public eye? That's out of the question, Erwin declared. The hell? Levi questioned. This guy destroyed an entire world, and you want to keep him away from the public eye? For what reason? The government, Erwin answered. They've been looking for a way to get rid of Optimus because they don't know how to control him. Optimus said no one knew that he was alive or where he was. If the government finds out that there's another Cybertronian on this world, we are already in a bad position. But if they find out who Megatron really is, you can expect for humanity to fall and for us to be executed. The colossal titan will have a chance to easily escape, take Eren, and destroy the walls. Megatron must remain secret from the government. You're basically saying that we should trust Prime's decision, Levi scoffed. That's a pretty splendid fucking idea, since Buckethead is some tyrant and Prime just spared him twice. We can't go up against Optimus' power. What makes you so sure we can go up against Megatron's? Erwin asked rhetorically. Optimus is the only one who can, and Megatron is willing to comply for right now. I don't think there's much to worry about, Pixis proclaimed. The fuck, of course there's something to worry about. Levi exclaimed, if this Titan starts killing people, it goes on all of our heads. Let me explain, Pixis said. From what I've been hearing, Megatron hasn't attacked humanity. If he wanted to attack, we wouldn't be here talking about the situation. And Megatron hasn't made any moves to attack Optimus, his greatest adversary. It also seemed Megatron didn't know what was going on, but still managed to adapt and help Optimus. Maybe, Levi agreed, but it still doesn't help any of us trust him. We don't even know his motives. True, but if Megatron was still the tyrant written down about, then where's his army? Pixis asked. If he knew Optimus were here, he probably wouldn't have hunted him down. And if Optimus knew that Megatron was still causing chaos, he would have left humanity to stop Megatron. Optimus had to give up his own life to ensure life could flourish on his world, Erwin said. We don't know if Megatron conversed with Optimus before that happened. Maybe they spoke with one another and decided ending the war was the best option for the planet, Pixis concluded. Another war destroying it would just be a waste of time, and Optimus has been fighting for good all of his life. The only solution would be for Megatron to stop fighting himself since Optimus is open to peace. So what Buckethead said about knowing what oppression was like might have contributed to the end of that war, Levi deadpanned. I still want to talk to Prime personally about this. Hanji will still want to conduct research on Megatron, Erwin declared. Make sure to keep her at a safe enough distance, Levi. It would be better to just keep her away from the bastard entirely, Levi proclaimed. That would be the same as asking you to not clean for a week, Erwin retorted. It's not possible. Erwin. Hanji yelled as she busted through the door. I need a medic. Mobillet got shot in the arm while protecting Nick. Someone's out to. Hanji noticed their rather long faces and raised an eyebrow. What's wrong with you guys? Hanji asked. Megatron is the gladiator, Erwin replied. Hanji's face paled before the color returned and gave the three a sinister smile. I must study him. Fucking hell you are not, Levi declared as he stood up and walked towards her. I can and you won't stop me. Hanji yelled. He destroyed a planet. Levi retorted. But he's a badass. Hanji whined. Levi grabbed her by the ear and pulled her out of the room with her kicking and yelling. She will never change, will she? Pixis smiled. Berthold could hear it. Not his former friends who were walking above him, not their muffled talking, not the chains on his hands and feet. He could hear the voices in his head. Why? Why? Why was he hearing voices in his head? He couldn't think straight because he couldn't tell if the voices were whispering to kill to survive or die for his crimes. He couldn't tell the difference between hallucinations and reality. He looked at his hand to see the dark spots from whatever the flying titan did spreading to his wrist. What's happening to me? Berthold spoke. The next day. You guys go wait inside, Hanji instructed Armin, Jean, and Historia. We gotta go get Optimus and talk about the situation. Squad leader, it's not safe to go by yourself, Jean declared. That's why I'm going with her, Levi said as he put on a coat to hide his 3D gear. If Buckethead tries something, I'm pulling you out. You're so paranoid, Levi, Hanji groaned. Mikasa. Which way did Optimus go? Mikasa laid the axe against the wall of the cabin and pointed ahead of them. Thank you. Hanji smiled as she walked forward. She's going to kill us all, Armin declared. Agreed, Levi said. Now get inside. Optimus, Hanji called out. Optimus opened his optics and looked down to see Hanji waving at him. You should not be here. Well, we kinda need to talk to you about some important stuff, Hanji answered. Speaking of important, where's Buckethead? Levi demanded as he caught up to Hanji. Optimus simply pointed to Megatron, who was sitting against a tree with his optics closed. So you guys can sleep without transforming into your alt mode, Hanji remarked. Not now, Levi hissed. Prime, just activate your stupid human form. Levi, this is not Dash. Someone tried to kill Pastor Nick, Hanji stated, gaining the Prime's undivided attention. We don't know how they found him, but we may have an idea why. We just want to brief you about the situation, and then you can continue watching Megatron. Optimus looked back at Megatron before sighing. He transformed into his alt mode and activated his hollow form. Make sure that it is quick, Optimus advised. And once that's done I can study Megatron. Hanji pressed. Optimus responded by grabbing Hanji by the arm and pulling her towards the cabin with Levi right behind them, unaware that Megatron opened an optic. Levi placed his hand under the table and sighed. You brats had enough time to clean this place up. Aaron groaned as he put a hand on his head while Levi wiped his hand. We'll talk about the cleaning job later. We need to take about our main mission, getting to Wall Maria and to the basement regardless of what's in our way. Armin, you said you had a plan. I was thinking about using Aaron's Titan power after he transforms to plug up the wall, Armin explained. We can do it at night too when the Titans are less active. That way we won't have to carry so many supplies, and even if we do, Optimus can do it for us. We'd be able to get to Wall Maria in less than a day. But, I'm still unsure if we'll be able to succeed with that plan. Aaron looked at Optimus who was standing by the door. The success of the plan doesn't just depend on Prime, Levi declared as he looked at Aaron. Don't worry, I understand, Aaron said as his gaze focused on the captain. Hear that, Four Eyes? Levi asked. Aaron agrees. At the very least that's good, Hanji said. I want everyone in the wall to feel safe. There's not many garrison left after the Walrose incident, and there's civil unrest with people from Walrose and Cena. We can't waste time, but Aaron and Optimus need to lay low for a while. The cadets looked in shock. What? Why? Aaron demanded. Ms. Zoe, you mentioned that someone tried to kill Pastor Nick, Optimus spoke. The hell? Connie exclaimed. Why would someone go after him? Armin asked. Probably to keep his mouth shut about the wall, Hanji replied. Mobility and I went to go grab him. We told him we'd be taking him to where Erwin was. I noticed someone outside the window with a gun in hand. Everything was going so fast, I pulled Nick to the ground while Mobility got shot in the arm. Nothing too serious, thankfully. I wasn't able to get a glimpse of what the gunman looked like. We had to move Pastor Nick and Mobility as fast as we could. So none of us are safe, Levi assumed. Do you believe our location has been compromised? Optimus asked. No, not yet, Hanji answered, but someone from the inside wants Aaron. Probably Optimus too, but they don't know how to contain you. And we're also having problems with keeping Metal Titan number 2 away from the public eye. Aaron noticed Optimus crossing his arms and clench his upper arm. So what do we do, Hanji? Levi asked. We go outside before we're stabbed in the back by our own government, or kill them and go outside the walls. Hanji hesitated. We'll do both. We'll do both at the same time. Sounds like something Erwin would say, Levi commented. Now, everybody get out except the Prime and Four Eyes. The teens looked at each other in confusion while Armin and Jean grew uneasy. But why? Aaron demanded. We have some things we need to discuss, Levi replied. What the shit are you talking about? Sasha growled. Just tell us what's going on. Connie exclaimed. All of you must go, Optimus ordered, earning all eyes on him. Optimus, what's going on? Aaron asked in desperation. Please tell us, we need to know. How about everyone gets out before I kick you out? Levi suggested. Aaron, let's go, Mikasa said. The teens got up one by one and left the room. Aaron looked at Optimus with desperation and betrayal before Mikasa closed the door. Levi crossed his legs. Now let's talk about your ex-boyfriend. I don't get it, Aaron said. Why is Optimus keeping secrets from us? We're not ready for it, Mikasa answered. Not ready? Aaron exclaimed, so much shit's been happening. We just need one truthful answer. Who's the flying titan? You don't want to know that answer, Jean declared. What do you know? Eren challenged. A lot more than you. Jean yelled. Eren, Jean, stop it. Armin yelled. Eren, there are things you don't understand. And even if we told you, you're gonna flip out like a maniac and turn into a titan. Jean retorted. At least I don't need to be a titan to kick your ass. Eren declared. Eren, stop it, Mikasa said as she put a hand on his shoulder. Jean, let's just go outside, Armin suggested. Eren scowled as Jean walked out of the cabin with Armin. Eren dash. He doesn't get it. Eren declared, he won't get it. You don't understand, Mikasa retorted. No, Optimus doesn't keep secrets. Everyone keeps secrets, Historia retorted. And why do you care? Sasha demanded, I thought you hated all the titans. What makes Prime so different? Eren rubbed his arm and was unable to look at Mikasa and Sasha in the eye. He's the closet thing I've had to a dad since. Mikasa looked solemnly before placing her hand on his shoulder. Let's get something to drink. Eren nodded his head as Mikasa took him to the kitchen. That suicidal bastard doesn't understand shit. Jean exclaimed, how the hell are you two friends? We could have told them, Armin suggested, they were bound to find out anyway now that Megatron's here. That's not the point. Jean yelled, the point at Megatron, a crazy fighter who made Reiner and Bertholdt look like the military police is here on our world, and Optimus didn't kill him yet. Optimus has to have a reason not to, Armin retorted. Optimus fought this guy for 4 million years. Jean reminded, what the hell could Prime be keeping him alive for? Because if I die, then the universe will fall into chaos, a gruff voice stated. Armin and Jean paled and turned to see a male with light brown skin and multiple scars on his face. The man was wearing a purple and dark gray pants with a black belt. He wore combat boots and a gray trench coat. His gray hair was slicked back and his red eyes were staring at the both of them. Oh hell no, Jean breathed. Armin gasped as Megatron covered their mouth and dragged the two away from the cabin while they were kicking and trying to break free. I really wonder what made you keep this a secret from humanity, Levi remarked. I would have made the situation worse if I mentioned him, Optimus admitted, humanity already fears me. I would have only caused more chaos if humanity were to know about someone who has caused destruction throughout the galaxy. Optimus, wouldn't it be better to tell humanity about Megatron? Hanji asked, we could have prepared for him. Could have gotten the chance to fight against him dash. I am sorry Ms. Zoe, but that is not possible, Optimus declared. What? Why? Levi demanded. Megatron is too powerful. Humanity cannot defeat him, no matter what you create, Optimus answered, he single-handedly defeated my men and has been fighting longer than I have. Megatron is not going to be defeated by 3D maneuver gear and TNT cannons. So you're the only one that can defeat him, Hanji concluded, but why would you keep him alive? It's because of your fucking morality, Levi spat. Levi, it is nothing like that, Optimus said. Oh, really? Levi asked, you let Annie, the bitch that killed my squad in cold blood and tried to kidnap Eren. Bertholdt Hoover, the one who started this carnage in the first place, and you allowed him to live. I thought maybe that you would have some sense when it came to killing Megatron, but instead you let him live under the belief that everyone has the ability to change. I did not keep him alive because of that, Optimus retorted. Then why is he still alive? Levi demanded, was it because you two were friends? Yeah, Hanji got that when you told Eren about your history. Optimus I just dash. The Megatron I knew before perished eons ago, Optimus stated, his voice rising. Then you're keeping him alive because of your shitty morality. Levi dash. Because by the end of it dash. Levi dash. It's preventing you from pulling the trigger and protecting humanity dash. Levi dash. And making you a fucking coward. Levi, stop. Hanji yelled. Optimus slammed his fist on the table and stood up. This has nothing to do with my morality. Hanji put her hands over her mouth and glanced back and forth while Levi took a small step back. Optimus pinched the bridge of his nose and sighed. Do you really think I would let Megatron live after everything he has done? He has done more damage than the Titan Shifters. He needs to pay for his crimes, and I would have no issue to end the madness. The issue is that if he dies, then Unicron has a host. Uni what? Levi questioned. This better not be some kind of joke. It is. Not. Optimus stated, near the end of our war, Megatron infused his spark with the blood of Unicron, Dark Energon. Depending how much information Ms. Zoe wrote down, then you would know that Unicron's spark was destroyed in the battle on Earth. Unicron was able to find a loophole to live through Megatron because of the compatibility he had with Dark Energon. It was by luck that my team was able to contain the threat. It was at the cost of my life at the time, but it was either my life or the life of the universe. Unicron is the god of destruction. In his most powerful form, it took 13 primes to defeat. One of them became corrupted by his toxic power. It took my team to barely defeat him before he reached his full power. If Megatron is alive, then maybe humanity has a chance to live because he gave upon the Decepticon cause. With Unicron, there is no form of negotiation. He will destroy everything in his path, this world, Cybertron, Earth, whatever star or galaxy there is, until there is nothing left. I can't take that risk. So the fate of humanity and the rest of the universe doesn't rely on your decision, Levi began, it relies on Megatron's cooperation. Unfortunately, Optimus answered, I'm sorry for all the madness that I am causing. Oh my god, Hanji breathed as she put her hands on her head, we're so fucked. So how are we going to tell the brats? Levi spoke. Armin and Jean were slammed against a tree with their mouths covered. They looked in fear as Megatron got down to their eye level. Alright you two, I need answers, and you two are the only ones that know of my existence, so I'm making the assumption that Optimus told you about me. When I remove my hands, the two of you will answer my questions. No shouting, no screaming, a single cry for help, and I will knock you both out. Understood? Megatron asked. Jean and Armin slowly nodded their heads. Megatron removed his hands to test if either were going to scream. Good, Megatron said before sitting down on the ground, now why did Earth evolve this way? Megatron noticed the two remaining silent, causing him to sigh in irritation. I said answer my question, not remain silent like drones. Why the hell would we tell you anything? Jean stuttered, you could use that information against humanity. Megatron laughed. Like you humans have anything to offer me. If I wanted to, I could just destroy the gate and let the Titans take care of the rest. Besides, I'm not into conquest and oppression anymore. Then why do you want the information? Armin demanded. Because I don't know how this world operates, Megatron answered, Optimus won't tell me anything, and as far as I'm concerned, humans evolved into Titans. I can't even ask one of you humans openly. Why do you think I dragged you two out here? Well dash. Look, humanity's been in the walls for a century because of the Titans. We have no history of where they came from and we don't know why they eat humans. Armin explained. Armin! Jean exclaimed. All right, Megatron began, when did Optimus come to this world? I need a day and time. It was in the afternoon, during the Battle of Trost. A month ago, Armin answered. Armin tried his best to keep his composure. His heart was beating too fast and his hands were sweaty, but he had to keep himself under control. He couldn't show weakness. Humanity was powerless against him, so at the very least, he had to keep a strong front. Do you know how he arrived here? The ex-con asked. No, Armin answered, no one does. When he arrived here, did the Prime look the way he does now? What kind of question is that? Jean demanded. I suggest watching that tone of yours, Megatron warned. Jean immediately closed his mouth. The form Optimus has now is an older form. Megatron continued, the last time that I saw him, he was more robust and was capable of flying. What concerns me most is why Optimus is acting the way he is. The two cadets looked at Megatron in surprise. Megatron noticed Optimus' change in behavior. How did you notice? Armin asked. We've been fighting for eons, Megatron answered. Optimus is usually more composed. He's not the one to shoot now and ask questions later. I want to know what happened. We don't know, Armin replied. He was getting angry about a week ago, and before the fight with the Colossal Titan, he was met at a pasture and he seemed a little more on edge. Megatron narrowed his eyes at the two, causing them to gulp. And that's all you know? Armin and Jean nodded their heads. This better not be some kind of trick, Megaton warned. It isn't. We're telling you what we know, Armin declared. Megatron sighed. All right, I'll leave. Megatron stood up and was going to deactivate the hollow form, but Armin grabbed Megatron's sleeve without thinking. Armin, what the hell? Jean exclaimed. Why are you helping humanity? Armin demanded, after 4 million years of war, and you suddenly decide to drop everything. You hate humans, yet you're fighting for a race you despise. Why? Megatron glared at Armin while the cadet stood his ground. The ex-tyrant scoffed and pulled his arm out of Armin's grip. Like Optimus is going to let me leave this planet, Megatron replied, and I already told, I'm not into conquest and oppression anymore. The hollow form dispersed into spark, allowing Armin to sigh with relief and collapse on the ground. Good job Armin, Jean remarked sarcastically, grab the Titan that could easily snap your neck. Armin looked down at the hand that grabbed Megatron. It felt so cold. Megatron felt so cold. I apologize for not being truthful to you for the past week, Optimus told the cadets. I had to make sure that Megatron wasn't threatening to harm humanity. I don't get why Megatron's a threat, Connie admitted. Of course he's a threat. Sasha exclaimed, the dark energy in his chest proves it. Hanji looked in surprise. Sasha can sense the dark energon in Megatron. Optimus, who is Megatron? Why are you keeping him a secret from us? Aaron demanded. Optimus subtly bit the inside of the holoform's lip before speaking. Megatron is the former leader of the Decepticons. He is the one that I was fighting for the past 4 million years. The cadets looked in shock while Sasha pointed at Connie. What did I say? She proclaimed confidently. No, Aaron breathed, no, that's not, you said that he was killed. Hold on, killed. Connie exclaimed. When Unicron used Megatron as a host, the damage Megatron received was repaired. So when Megatron was free from Unicron's control, he was able to gain his life back. He forfeited the cause, and that was the last time that I saw him until now. Optimus explained. Who's Unicron? Historia asked Mikasa, who only shrugged. But why didn't you say anything? Aaron demanded, he's a threat. Why can't you just kill him? I cannot, Optimus answered, Unicron would be able to take over his body because of the dark energon in his spark. I cannot risk the destruction of the entire universe. So you're putting us at risk instead? Aaron yelled as he stood up. We're at risk either way, Levi retorted. Aaron, do you really believe I would leave Megatron alive after everything he has ever done? Optimus asked, I cannot kill Megatron because I do not have the resources to contain Unicron. Keeping Megatron alive is our only option to survive. Aaron couldn't take it. Too much rage and hurt was building up inside of him. He stormed out of the room before slamming the door and walking outside. Aaron! Mikasa yelled as she tried to go after him, but Hanji stopped her. Let's give Aaron some space, she suggested. Optimus looked down at the holoform's hands to see it losing shape. I need to go, Optimus informed as he deactivated the holoform. Optimus sat down and leaned against the tree. He looked at his servo before covering his face and gritting his dentures. He felt something tap his foot and looked down to see a shard of energon. He looked at Megatron to see his optics still closed while adjust his seating position. Wakey, wakey, a voice sing-songed. Berthold groaned before coughing as he felt the muzzle removed from his mouth. He saw Hanji smiling and waving while Levi glared at him. Time for your torture to begin, Hanji declared. The best part about this is that your wounds regenerate, so we can continue torturing you until we're bored. Children of the devil, Berthold wheezed. Levi placed a knife at Berthold's neck and pressed it into his skin, causing blood to drip from his neck. I don't think devils would fight for the lives of others, Levi retorted. You won't get anything from me, Berthold swore. Don't think this is all going to be about interrogation, Levi declared, this is about what you did. Levi slit his throat, causing Berthold to cover the wound and try to breathe properly. Have the clippers? Levi asked. Right here, Hanji smiled wickedly as she waved them around. Let the fun begin. Commander Erwin. Mobilot yelled as he walked into the room with his bandaged arm, we have a problem. Is it the Flying Titan? Erwin demanded. No, it's something else. Mobilot declared. The merchant held a lantern and looked in awe at the blue rocks that littered the cave. So this is the stuff the Metal Titan's been using? One of his workers asked. It's huge. The buyer wants us to gather as much of this stuff as we can, the merchant declared. We have to be careful though. Don't want any of this stuff killing us. All right men, get to work. Berthold panted heavily as his hands and feet began to regenerate. He held his stomach as blood poured out from the wound. He kept shaking as Levi wiped the blood from his hand and knife. You are not a talker, are you? Hanji remarked. Berthold continued shaking, hiding his face from the two of them. Levi growled and kicked Berthold in the back. The Titan shifter held his tongue and tried to grab the ground, revealing his burnt hand and wrist. Hanji noticed the distorted body part and examined it. The body part was covered in dark spots and his ring finger did not fully regenerate. Levi, did you touch his hand? Hanji asked. Levi shook his head. Either way, I'm not touching something that disgusting. I saw it when we brought him down here. Hey, where did you get this? Hanji asked Berthold. Berthold glared at them. It was the Metal Titan. Hanji and Levi looked at each other. We need to talk to Optimus. Levi declared. Energon didn't do that to Annie, Hanji recalled as the two walked to Optimus' location. Well, we never checked long-term effects on a Titan shifter, Levi retorted. Far as I'm concerned, Prime didn't shoot Berthold. Hopefully, Optimus can give us an answer. And if Buckethead tries anything, I have my gear, Levi declared as he adjusted his cloak. Hanji and Levi arrived to see Optimus stretching his arms and Megatron leaning against a tree and looking up at the evening sky. Prime, we need to talk to you, Levi said. Optimus looked down while Megatron didn't even acknowledge them. Something's up with Berthold and we hope you have an answer, Hanji answered while Levi lifted his coat to reveal his 3D gear. Optimus glanced back at Megatron. All right, what happened? Did you shoot him in the left hand with your gun? Hanji asked while gesturing to her own hand. I did not. Why? Optimus questioned. Well, he has these dark spots on his hand and wrist and is missing part of his ring finger. When Annie got hit with Energon in her Titan form, the arm of her real form was disintegrating and we had to cut it off to prevent it from spreading any further. I don't know why it's slower than normal for Berthold. Maybe it's because of his size or dash. Hanji jolted and Levi grabbed the handle of his gear as Optimus aimed his blaster at Megatron. Megatron glanced at the Prime and raised his servos in surrender. Are we really doing this again? You were the one that made contact with the boy, so what did you do? Optimus demanded. Hey. Let's not try to murder each other. Hanji cut in with nervous laughter, remember what you told us. Clearly, you've forgotten that I can fire long-range attacks in my alternative mode, Megatron stated, and I only fired with my form once. The rest of the battle I used my sword and shield, which I no longer have because you hid them for precautionary measures. Do you two know the effects of Dark Energon in the system of organic life? Hanji asked. You can expect a slow death, Megatron answered, but this creature clearly isn't human, so who knows how the creature will react. Maybe he'll degrade back to a mindless creature, or maybe Unicron will become desperate and take over his body. Who knows, which is why it would have been better to have killed him when you had the chance. Optimus lowered his gun and transformed it back into his servo. Is there any way to counteract the Dark Energon? Hanji asked. It would be really unfortunate if humanity had some kind of purple undead titan. The only solution would be liquefied Energon, Optimus answered. Great. Hanji smiled. If you have the tools to liquefy Energon or remove Energon from a Cybertronian, Megatron retorted as he crossed his arms, you humans will end up burning something to the ground before you yield results. Is it really that complicated without your technology? Hanji groaned. Yes, the two titans answered. Hanji yelled and threw her hands in the air in anger. Eren sat on the edge of a cliff not too far away from the cabin. He needed some fresh air to clear his thoughts. He was hurt. He was just, really hurt. He thought Optimus trusted him. He didn't understand why he told Armin and Jean. Why didn't he tell them and warn them about Megatron so they could be prepared? Why did Optimus lie? You're supposed to be sleeping, brat, Levi stated as he walked towards him in casual clothing, not make me look for you. Don't want to, Eren muttered. Want me to kick you off? Levi threatened. Eren didn't answer, causing Levi to grab Eren by the hair. Are you trying to piss me off? Levi's anger disappeared as he saw Eren's tired face. What's going on with you? I'm confused, Eren replied, I'm confused and I don't know who to take my anger out on. Levi sighed and let Eren go. Guess we're all that way. Optimus told Armin and Jenna about Megatron, Eren said, he kept some of that secret from me. I don't get it. Why? I can't give you an answer to that, Levi admitted, all I can say is Prime is running low on options and is doing what he can to protect humanity. Wouldn't Optimus tell us about Megatron so we could prepare for the threat? Eren asked. Prime said we'd lose either way, Levi informed. But Armin and Jean knew. They could have told us dash. Maybe Prime wasn't ready to tell, Levi interrupted, we all have our own personal demons. He may not show it, but someone who's been at war for that long probably has a lot of emotional baggage. Have to think about it that way. Eren remained quiet before yelled as Levi grabbed him by the ear back to the cabin. Hanji. Mobilette called out as he ran towards her. Mobilette, calm down, Hanji said, it's only been a day after you got shot in the arm. You're not fully healed yet. I need you to rest before we continue conducting experiments. Did you bring the supplies from the castle? Yes, but dash. Great. Hanji smiled, let's set up a table so we can finish up the revolver prototypes we were working on. Hanji dash. We have to start experiments with Eren again and I have to find a way to do research on Megatron. Hanji, please dash. I wonder if he has a hollow form. Squad leader, there's something important I have to tell you. Mobilette shouted. All right, what happened? Hanji asked. Annie Leonhardt escaped. Mobilette declared. Check the description for the links to the author.